All right, I'm back live, everybody. Sorry for that delay. There was a giant update, apparently, to both the Epic Launcher and Satisfactory. I got Satisfactory when it first came out a long time ago via the Epic Game Store. So I had to wait for a giant update there. I don't know what's new in the update. But we're going to get into it. We're going to run some trains today. Finally, we've got our trains unlocked and we're ready to go. Now, let's take a quick tour of the factory. We'll just kind of peek over the side here. As you can see, I am way up here. I started in kind of the first zone in which you typically would start if you chose the first area in Satisfactory. Now, this is one of my favorite games of all time, everybody. This game is awesome. This is an 11 out of 10. It is the builder's dream. If you like to build, this is your jam right here. The way that you can do building, the way that you can build from different sides, you can tell it to go out, down, up, left, right, even from really far away. The fact that I can hit F, like I'm going to take out that foundation, then hit middle mouse button to pick it up and copy that object. I could also just copy this object, a container. I could copy, I can't copy my hub because I already got one of those. I could copy the awesome sink just by basically hitting F, like I was going to take it out or dismantle it and then hit the middle mouse button and pick it up. Same thing with walls. I can go ahead and just put walls down and so on. Now also, it's so precise that you can actually just roll over a certain edge of the actual foundation here, and it will know what you want to do. If you roll over that edge, it knows it wants to go on that side, and so on. And then you can also do it like this. So I can do a foundation here. I could do it on top by going in the middle. I could go to the middle of that one. I could even go way over there and put one way down over there, or even further way over here and put it very specifically right there. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, everybody, but that is a lot of precise work to be able to do it from really far away or from weird angles, from when you're down below or up above or on the side of it or whatever. This game is second to none. Absolutely second to none in how amazing that is actual building is, the way you do your foundations and all of that. Incredibly great. Now, there's a lot of factory builders. Of course, you have Factorio and a whole bunch of other games that we're going to check out along the way. I have some in the queue for all the games. I mean, I got so many learn to plays that I'm going to try to catch up on them here. But one of the ones we're going to do after this, by the way, is called Terraformers. We're going to take a look at that game as a learn to play after this. Now, I have been doing what I call using the power of time. That's what this playthrough is all about. And that means that we actually have a server that's running 24/7. And what we do is we queue stuff up, we let it run all week long, and then we come back and we follow up on how it did, right? So how it did along there. Now, in this lower area down here is where I have my raw resources, which is the first time, by the way, I've ever drawn raw resources into a box and then actually had them at this extent, and then actually am running them where they go. So I'm running them up into these boxes and then back down into the run level, which is underneath this level. Now, I'm up pretty high here, and you can see that I have a bunch of spaghetti going right here. I know this triggers peeps. But really not as bad as I'm sure some of you have seen. If you've ever watched some Satisfactory, there's some people who do some serious spaghetti. Now, even I can't handle it, everybody. But what I wanted to do was to queue this stuff up and let it run while we were waiting all week long. And so what we did is we let all this stuff run in here and basically do as much as it possibly can before it ran out of resources or ran out of power. In this case, probably resources. So it did a good amount of heavy modular frames there. So very good. So again, we have that factor of time where we can just let it run. It did a bunch of computers, which are going to help us build stuff that's going to help us make it go faster and unlock things along the way. And that power of time is really important because, again, while you're not even in the game is off. Nobody's in the server. You have an option to have it keep running even if no one's in the server. And again, I have a mega server from the awesome people at Nitrado. If you want to get your own mega server and use the power of time on your Satisfactory build, bam, pop on over there. Use my code Kismet, get 10% off. That's what I try to do. I try to hook you guys up. I don't get anything. I already got servers. It just helps you guys out, gives you a little discount because saving money is making that money, everybody. I highly agree with that sentiment. All right, so let's go ahead and basically take all these out of here. Now, why did these stop? Why did it not fill up all of the boxes along the way? And the reason why I did that is because one of the resources in here ran out. Now we can see that it's not the encased industrial beams there, not the screws, and not this, because these are actually under production, the screws and the steel pipes. Now this one over here, I can understand if that one ran out, because that one's actually not being produced right now as part of the factory. But the one we ran out of is actually modular frames. Now, modular frames is one of those things that you seem like you got a lot, but then you don't. You really, really don't. I believe they were right here. Yes, they were right here. So it burned up all those modular frames. It's not producing any additional modular frames. So that is why that stopped and didn't run all week long and only made as much as it did. In this case. Now, this is heavy modular frames here, and these two are being merged into this box. So both of these were running those at the same time. Now, on the other side over here, we are doing our computers. And what we can see here is that the circuit boards are the ones that stop. Now, I actually have some circuit boards on me, so I can just throw some in there and it'll start up another computer. But why did the circuit boards stop? So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and look back here where I'm making the circuit boards, and we can see that the plastic stopped there, right? We ran out of plastic. That's also because plastic is not being produced in full production. And the reason why I didn't do all of those things yet is because I really didn't need to, right? And it would cost me a lot more power for me to go ahead and upgrade the power and then add all of those things. But I definitely need to do that eventually because we're waiting to do our oil power. Now, part of our oil power, we're going to need to bring the oil back. Now, we could just do what I'm doing right now. And I'm trying to remember which side it's on. I think it's on the far side over there. Ah, God, gotta get out from under here. Get out from underneath the spaghetti. Over this way. So on the far side, way over there, you can see my coals running there. But if you look at this line right here, we have a hypertube that goes way out there and then ends up way off over there, kind of past where this arch is, way out there, which is where we're producing our plastic and our rubber right now. And that's where we're extracting our oil. But in this particular playthrough, what we're doing is we're taking all of the resources and we're running them back to one central base. Now, I highly recommend if you are playing the game for the very first time to make sure to not do what I'm doing. Because this is way more advanced, everybody. This is where you're building little mini factories and you are running all the resources over here, which is fairly time intensive. And you also have to kind of be able to visualize what you want to do toward the end of the game, right? So if you haven't played through yet or you've only played through once, I highly suggest probably not doing what I'm doing. But it is fun to play through different ways because I've played the game since it released. I've played it for years and years. I don't know how many playthroughs I've done, maybe 40th playthrough, maybe 30th. I can't remember, everybody. I can barely remember my own name and your guys' name, let alone how many times I've played through a game. But you get the general idea. So the whole gist of this particular factory, we'll go down below here. And again, you see I've got my hub up here. We'll go back down using our hypertubes. Very fun. The whole gist of this factory is to pull in the raw resources and then build a factory around those little... That was weird. Freaky. All right. That's freaky. I feel like that update just caused that to happen. There's an update to Satisfactory. I don't know what it was all about, but that was freaky. So what's happening back here is the raw resources are being brought in. And they're right here. And you're like, well, Kismet, why are you not running out anything in there? That's because they're actually going down in the ground and they end up underneath this level. And I'll show you how high up I am here. But you can just go ahead and see that these are all... each one of these areas are different base resources that I'm doing. And you can actually see them if we get real close. You can see them on the conveyor belts. That one obviously is quartz there. And then we'll run back this way. Actually, I need to take that one out of there. There we go. There we go. This way we can just kind of bypass. You can see that that one, I don't know, maybe you can't. Let's get a little closer. This one right here is our sulfur, I believe, which we haven't done anything with yet. Over here we have our, that looks like copper. Why is the quality of the graphics really low? Oh, it just hasn't updated yet. All right, there we go. So that's copper there. Iron, coal, you get the idea. So I have all of the raw resources being run to these boxes, and then they are actually run down below. Now, you might notice that my character is up really, really high here. Actually, let me turn this down just a little bit. I'm trying to balance all my audio across to match up with Fallout 76. All right. So we're going to go look over the edge here. You can see I'm way, way up here. And the reason why I'm up so high is because I'm matching the height of where I'm at to the general area, right? So I can run trains without them being obstructed. One of the things that I like to do is grab the resources from down there where all the mobs are, and you get radiated and you get gassed and all of that, and bypass all of that by bringing all the resources up to my own level up above. And then that's why I build up high. Also, if they make changes to the game, which they are, they're making a big change to the kind of northern part of the game. I was watching a little bit of that dev stream. I love Snoot over there, and the other guy, I can't forget his name. I only remember Snoot's name because I just watched it the other day. But in about 2 days, I'll forget his name too. But I appreciate them over there. They got some of the best community managers as well. So basically what I do is I bring the resources up here. And I'm bringing all the raw resources into these boxes, and then I'm sending them where I need them to go. So if we kind of back up here, and again, we're up on the highest level here, or really the one level below the highest level. The highest level will actually be up here where I have my hub out of the way. Now, this whole area here, you can see we've got a big empty area here. This is where our trains are going to be, right? We're going to run our trains through here and utilize this area for trains. And we want that train to come down, come across, and then end up either here, or in this particular case, we're going to have the train actually end on the far side over there, because this is where our power is going to be. So our power plants are going to be over here. All of our various different stuff's going to be over on that side. But let's go ahead and see a little bit behind the scenes. Let's first go into this one. And that's going to just take us down one level, and we'll turn our, wrong button. There we go. We'll turn our light on. See, this is where all of our, what's known as our run lines are, right? Where all of our conveyors are. And, we'll clean this up over time, but right now we're just trying to figure out the logistics of how do we get this resource from here to here to here to there to here to there, right? Now, the cool thing is, eventually, most of this, at least the long runs, will be eliminated, because I'm going to utilize trains to the umpth degree in this playthrough. Really go heavy on trains. They did a huge upgrade to trains. I love what they've done with the trains. So a lot of this is going to be basically trains. Some local trains, which are just going to, bring resources from here to there and drop them off. And then, of course, long distance trains, which go and grab stuff and bring back. Now, our first train is actually going to be a long distance train. It's actually going to go get the oil, bring the oil back so we can go ahead and boost our power. So then we can get to those things like modular frames, reinforced iron beams, and all of those things that we want to go ahead and make as part of the factory, and then also just run and run and run. Now, one of the things I do is I want to make it so I have so much excess power that I don't have to think about that excess power all the time, right? So that's definitely something we want to do as we go along. And the only way to do that is to make our conveyors faster as well. So our conveyor belts need to be really fast so that we can bring more resources in faster, or we can do dual belts and bring them in, or basically make it where we can just have the train go and pick it up. Now, that is a great way of doing it, because guess what? You're going to need to produce less resources. You're going to need to do less stuff, because basically the train is going to travel the distance in which you would normally run the line. You use your train tracks. It runs over there. It grabs the resources. It brings the resources back. Now, trains go really fast, especially when they're on a flat surface, which is why I have my thing up so high. So pretty much in this whole area, the trains can get through. Now, if we have to build an incline somewhere to get up over a mountain or go around a mountain, mountain or whatever. We cannot cut through the mountain. You can't do any terrain modification other than some boulders you can blow up and some trees you can cut down. But you can't do any like, not like Astroneer where you could literally drill through the middle of a mountain. You can't do that. And they're not going to add that ever. They said, no, we're not going to add that. I mean, they've already put a massive amount of years and years and years of work in this. This is still early access, and it's an 11 out of 10 in early access, everybody, which is pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I hope they add more storyline, though. That's one of the things I hope they add by release. They are trying to work on the release version now. I'd love to see a lot more interaction with Fix-It, and that's the Space Corporation. That's, by the way, I got my Fix-It cup right there. That's the big space corporation that sent you here to the planet in the first place to basically be the kind of caretaker of the planet. And we try to get every bit of resources that we can going. It's like how many... the real goal of this game is to see how many of whatever it is that you can make per minute, right? Are you making 10? Are you making 100? Or are you making 10,000 of that particular resource every minute? And I feel like that's the true in-game and how to build it beautifully to make it look amazing, right? Now, this is actually pretty decent of a build because it's not just, willy-nilly everywhere. You can see it's running along a straight line. That straight line is then connecting up into the floor holes. And it's not just on the ground running around up and overlapping in weird directions, unlike my thing that I have up above. And you're trying to kind of keep it organized, right? Keep it organized, make it look nice. You're putting your nice 90-degree turns in there. You're keeping your stuff fairly centralized. You can see all of these resources are running along this one stacked area. Later on, I'll make it even more embellished. You'll see me run multiple lines together. We'll add glass and all sorts of cool stuff to our builds. And I typically don't embellish it in the early game because you're really trying to get your stuff going. And so in spending time embellishing it, it's not as efficient as actually making it work, right? And I typically will focus on making stuff work first. All right, so we'll go back up here, and we're going to go in the second one. Now, the second one is really going to show you what I've been up to by going down here to the bottom. And, of course, whenever I go to show off stuff, that's the second it gets dark. Now, you can see our factory is actually way up there on the top. And what we've done is we've actually started with our basic nodes, right? Our iron nodes. We'll get to that battle here in a second. Our iron nodes. And we have two iron nodes right next to each other. And we're actually feeding those two iron nodes together. We're merging them from these two. And then we're running it all the way up into our primary base. And it goes into a box. And we're actually drawing out the raw resources, which I rarely ever do. But we thought we'd challenge ourselves in this particular build because I've built many a factory. I've played through the whole game before as well. Now over here, we also have another iron ore that's extracting. Now I could actually increase the rate in which this iron ore is extracting because my belts go up to 270. So I could use these right here, which are called power shards that you can put in here and you can boost these up. Say it's 200%, then be going at 240. If I go 250, it'd actually be at 270. So basically we could boost that and put more iron in there and then basically be able to produce more products. The number one thing that stumbles you in this game is going to be power. You do need a lot of power and constantly be thinking of your power. And if your power goes off, immediately unplug whatever it is that you just plugged in, turn the power back on again, go out, add more power, and then come back. Much like Planet Crafter that we played, it has the same kind of game loop, right, where you play it. Same thing over here. You can see that we are bringing some resources from way over there. This is where our copper is feeding up into the top part. Over here, we've got some additional limestone that's coming along this belt here and running up here to merge with just a single lift, right? Now, again, eventually, this will all be trains. So this will go up into a train station. Say I'm getting something from really far away, way over there. It'll go up into the train station. That train station will then drive it back to my primary base. So I don't have to go get it. I don't have to run lines. One of the things that I've learned about this game is that when you run a lot of lines or long distance in the early game, you have to come back eventually and upgrade all those lines. And if you've run 7, 8, 9 lines, sometimes you can merge them, but a lot of the time you're just upgrading upgrading them one upgrade, and then you're spending hours and hours and hours doing that, I highly suggest against that, everybody. I highly suggest running too many lines in the early game. Just start with a few nodes right here. You can see I've got like 3 iron nodes, a copper node, 2 limestone nodes, and then a node from everything else that I currently need other than uranium. The one thing I'm not doing right now is uranium because I'm about mid-game right now, right? Basically mid-game. But to build something up high at this size, this early in the game, is incredibly time-consuming. It is very time-consuming, and no, I'm not going to put a bunch of supports in there because that's even more time-consuming. But you get the general idea that we're building the base up really high to avoid all of the ground-level mobs and the ground-level stuff. And then also any changes that they make in early access. So up we go, everybody, all the way to the top. Let's do it. Up at the top. Or build it any way you want. That being said, organization does help. Yes, I do say that quite often. It's your game. You play it however you want. You don't have to do the same exact thing as me. That was basically the gist of what I was saying. Right there. And I have built, again, I've built it 100 ways. I've done spaghetti just like everybody else right at the very beginning of the game when you're trying to learn how the conveyors work and you're trying to understand the speed ratios and the inputs and output ratios. And I've done the insane, like where you're doing splitters and merges to get the exact numbers, right? When you're trying to get a 7 number out of your splitters because of the number of items that you're doing and the number of times you're splitting it, then you half of this one's merging into this one and half of that one's merging in. You're like, Kismet, how can I see all of those? Well, all of that stuff's on my YouTube, by the way, everybody. If you do want to check that out, feel free to check that out over there. I have a ton of past videos, past bases that we've done, and of course stuff we've built on the servers and things like that. You can see that, and of course a bunch of other builds in 7 Days to Die and Fallout, both Fallout 4 and in 76. And a ton of other building games like Subnautica and so on. So if you like building, you like to see bases, you can check it out on there. You can also check it out on my Discord or even post your epic base. Do you have an epic Satisfactory base that you like to show off? Well, hey, I want to see it. Drop it on the Discord. That link's also in there. Just go on the Discord, read the rules, click that green check mark. Very important because that's going to then give you access to the area in which you can go in and put your community builds in and post your awesome factory in there as well. So if you got one that you're really proud of, I'd love to see it. Go ahead and feel free to post it on in there. All right, and you can see that I've elevated this one up here, and I'm actually bringing resources up to the top here. Now, these resources are not really designed and not really intended for production use, right? Like I'm doing right here, right? And this is only temporary because we wanted to do it at the end of the stream last time. Normally, I would build a whole factory for it. But we want to just let this run so that by the time we came back in a week, we would have a bunch of modular frames and a bunch of computers, and it worked perfectly. And then now we can just go ahead and take all this out because we have the stuff that we need to upgrade a little bit or do what we need to do for a bit, too. And we have a bunch of it, right? So we have a bunch of it, so we can do a pretty good amount of upgrades at this point. But what we really want to do, again, is work on our trains. We were trying to get to a point where we could unlock trains. We unlocked trains last time, and then this time we're actually going to start utilizing our trains because our real focus in this playthrough is going to be trains. Now, this is like my storage area, everybody, and the reason why I make a giant storage area like this is so that I can literally just walk over here and feed it into the hub. Right? Now, there's two kind of modes to this game. There is the mode where you're coming to the hub here and you're unlocking all your basics, right? Your hub upgrades, your logistics items, you're upgrading your inventory, you're adding more slots to your thing, you're unlocking like the splitters and conveyors and all of that stuff. And then as you kind of progress through, you're going to build what's known as the space elevator. Now, there's a gigantic ship, I guess, or space station or whatever in the sky. I don't really know what it really is up there, but I'm assuming it's like a space station or something up there. And what you do is you have this giant space elevator that goes and it connects to that up in space. And so as you finish items, you got to make certain items to unlock more items along the way. So you make these specific items, you send it up to them, bam, you unlock the next tier, right? In the case of Tier 3, where we unlock coal power, which is one of the first times that you have what's known as perpetual power, where you can go ahead and start the power up with your biofuel, which you have to collect manually, Then once you start your coal power going, what it does is it makes so much power that it actually powers the water extractors and it powers the coal extractors, which means that it then draws the coal and water in, which then powers the coal plant, and the coal plant then powers those other things again, right? So you have this circular loop of perpetual power. Unless you add too much factory items, and then you hear the scariest noise in the game, which is where your whole entire factory goes offline. That sucks. Now, I actually slow play early access games. If like this game is still in early access, I do not go and build and get every single node in the game and build these gigantic things because I know it's going to change over time. And as I know it's going to change over time, I just try to do different things to kind of push myself to learn new stuff and try new ways in the game. I do not just rush through the game and get to the end as quick as possible, even though I've played through 40 times. I have gotten to the end of the game. I have learned and done nuclear power and all of that. I have not actually done the very, very end of the game because I'm kind of saving it maybe for this playthrough. We'll see. Where you do like nuclear fission or whatever it is, the accelerator. I haven't done that yet, but we'll get around to it. So we've already unlocked kind of what I call the mid game, which is 3, 4, and then 5, and then 6, right? You can see that I still have some here to do. Now, my current milestone is this one right here, which is our larger pipes. And I need to get some plastic and I need some copper sheets. Now, I have copper sheets being produced and actually brought to me right up here at my hub. So all I need to do is look in the right direction. There we go. And then walk right over here and you're going to see that this is full. Now, if I actually take some of this out of here, it's going to automatically start up the whole entire process of making those copper sheets, and then we'll actually make more copper sheets and bring them here. Now, this is just one box, but I also have 5 more boxes of copper sheets behind this because those 5 boxes are going to be used in production. So I'll backlog a bunch of resources because it requires less building, less time, which is your most valuable resource, and then, of course, less resources because it can make a bunch of stuff while I'm not even in the game over the week. And then, of course, I could use that to make stuff. So that's why we call it the power of time in the fact that we can just let it run, come back, and then bam, we've got 100, 200 modular frames. Where normally you're just sitting here going, oh, God, these modular frames are like 1 per minute or 1 every 2 minutes, right? Take a long time. Now, we'll come back to all of that. Let's go ahead and do this battle, and then we'll come back. We'll do a lot of more of this here in just a moment. To battle! And again, this little side game that we play called Stream Raiders, super fun. We're going to go ahead and start up this battle and get it fired up. How are we doing? Okay, what do we got? 55 units to 102. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, let's see how we do. Oh, I see a couple peeps in there. Put down all 6 units. Nice job. That's going to help us bring in the loot. Let's go, let's go. I'm still working on that battle mode, everybody. I was going to work on it yesterday, but I was so exhausted. And then I couldn't sleep today, so I only got like 3 hours of sleep today. Really pushing myself a lot, but I'm making big strides. Making big strides here in the stream. I hope you guys are noticing it because I'm working really hard, everybody. Really, really hard at it. Reaper getting the love. Akia getting the love. Reaper coming in MVP with 26 kills. Nice job. I see you there, Les. I see you there, Akia. All 6 units crushing it. Very nice job. Now, again, if you put all 6 units and you are MVP, I'll give 1,000 Kids Caps to the chat. Right now, we're giving away for some free Stream Raider skins in the giveaway. If you want to know more about the giveaway, you can go ahead and scroll down there. It shows you how to go exclamation loot in the chat, exclamation ticket space 1. Everybody gets a free ticket, so you have a chance to win a free Stream Raider skin today, here in just a bit. All right, let's go ahead and get another battle going. Again, we're going to be going for a while here. Now, I got to check and see if my wife's contacting me or anything. Right over here. All right. Nope, they're not buzzing me. All right. Just in case they buzz me about food or whatever the heck we're doing. Always good to check in with your family. All right. Let's see. What are we doing? We got to put down another saint, but we don't have. Oh, wait. This is a forest call. Hold on. Let's get serious here. Let's put this down right here. About mid. Yeah, let's do mid right here. Now you might notice. I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm in the game. That's me. That's me in the game, everybody. All dressed up for TwitchCon with my yellow fedora, which some of you have seen me wear on the stream, in my Vault suit, as I like to call it. And I've got a Vault 45 Vault shield going on, and a giant broadsword as well. I should have had him do the Overseer's Guardian, now that I think about it. Should have been walking around with a gun instead of a sword. But then again, he's a melee character. He's a thing, so he doesn't have a gun. Maybe when we do the Archer, we'll have him do like the Overseer's Guardian, right? Now, again, if we want to unlock some of these, though, we are at 58, I think 58 to 100. If you would like to support the stream, everybody, if you enjoy all these battles, is above and beyond that I go here in the stream for these battles and all of this, please do me a favor, pop into the store real quick, hit these skins right here, and go ahead and hit Kismet right there. Of course, you do purchase the skins, and you can also gift them if you want to. You just click this button right here to gift. Type in someone's name who's might been crushing it in the thing. Show them some love by sending them one of my Kismet healers or emotes or whatever, or skins. In there. So we have Norbert in there. We have Sparkle Dog is a flying rogue, which I think is one of my favorites. And of course, I'm in there too as Kismet Tank. So feel free to show some love to someone else, or give the best gift, the one the gift you give to yourself. And purchase some of those Kismet skins. Does help us. If we get to 100, by the way, we get to unlock another skin in which we're going to add Saltbot to the game as well. I think that is awesome, personally. I personally think that is amazing. So feel free to go it. Rocket launcher better? Well, hey, to each their own, everybody. I absolutely despise the rocket launcher in Fallout 76. It's okay in Fallout 4, but in Fallout 76, the ammo wastes way too much. But hey, let's get back to some Satisfactory. Just dawned on me also, I got to do like a battle plan. Hold on. Make a quick, useless battle plan here. There we go. All right, so I can get my battle plan thing done. All right, so here we are back into Satisfactory. Now, what do we want to work on? We want to work on trains. Now, what are we going to need to do trains? Now, I swear this feature was added for me, everybody. You can see we've got a to-do list over here on the right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and clear that to-do list for right now. And just get the basics, right? Just the basics of train transportation, which is railway. So we're going to need some steel pipes and steel beams. We're going to need the actual car itself. Oops, didn't mean to actually put it down. I meant to hit the plus button. We're going to need the locomotive, and we're going to need 2 train stations, right? Why do we need 2? Well, we need a start and we need the end, right? We need 2 train stations to make it work. Now, there's multiple ways of doing trains. If you ever played with a train set, you probably already know that. There's a circular train that goes around on a round track. There's also what's known as a push-pull train, where you have an engine on both ends, and then one engine, this one, will pull it that way, and then this one will pull it back this way. And you can actually do push-pull trains in this game, which is really cool. Later on, we'll get more complex, and we have switching and all sorts of cool stuff that you could do so the trains can use the same line. That's why they have switching, by the way, everybody, if you didn't know about trains. The reason why they have switching is so they don't have to make a separate rail line for that particular line. So some trains can come in, use that rail line, and then say they're going this way, and another train's coming this way. They can go ahead and get off that track and go the way they need to go, and then this one can come down. It just saves them money. Otherwise, they'd have to make a bazillion tons of railroad track, which would be incredibly expensive, especially in these days. So the same thing for us, right? When we're building in Satisfactory, we don't want to make 50 train lines if we could get away with 1 or 2 train lines that the trains could share and whatnot. Now, they added train collision to the game, so you can actually run your trains into each other, which I think is funny. Steal Kismet's coffee? Yeah, I'll just have a little sip. Slurp, slurp. You're like, Kismet, what's a coffee cup all about? It's made by Coffee Stain Studios, everybody. Come on. Come on, that should be an easy one. All right, so we're going to need more computers, and we're going to need some motors. Now, right now, actually, probably motors is our biggest problem, because we did make a bunch of computers, and we made a bunch of modular frames while we were offline. The server was just kind of, we put a whole bunch of resources in there, we let it run. Now we've got tons of modular frames, tons of resources. The one thing that we don't have is motors. Now, what does it take to make motors? So let's go ahead and look in here. Ooh, just sliding around. To make motors over here, we're going to need rotors and stators. Now, we're not making any stators, and we do have some rotors laying around. I think we used up all of our stators here. Let's see. No, we got some. We got a couple there. Not too many. So really, we need to make the stators first, and then make the motors. Because we already have the rotors, right? Which is different than a motor. Rotors are different from a motor. But we do have the ability to upgrade some stuff over here. In the pipeline engineering here, we're just going to need some plastic. And we're going to need some copper sheets. Now, our goal is to get all the way over there and then be able to run all these resources back to the primary base. So really, all we need right now is to just get the trains going, right? We need to get the trains going and take them out there. So the resources that we need the most is going to be that. Now, the electric train is what is going to use the motors, and we only need 3 more. So let's go over here and see if we can just go ahead and just make the stators, right? In here. Now, by the way, you can just roll over the cursor, hit spacebar, and then hands off, and then we'll actually make a bit of those rotors. See how the motors now is popping up? We can make 1 of those. We can make 2 of those because we already have the rotors in our inventory. And we can go ahead and get to the point where we can make 3. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and make those 3 items. Now, I typically, when I'm making it, I'll make just enough to do the thing. I won't sit here and just let this run and run, usually unless there's a reason for that. But this is what we need, and we need as much steel pipe and steel beams as possible because this is actually not as much as I need, right? I just put it in there so it would tell me roughly what resources I need, not necessarily how much resources I need, right? Very important distinction. Let me just say that again. It's what resources, or maybe not. Let me say that again. It's what resources I need, not how much resources. Because I only put like 7 of them in there, and I know I'm going to do way more than 7 because this is really far. So I'm going to need a lot of those particular resources. Now, we just happen to have a nice big fat box of them over here, and also production that's automatically going to start up to replace the ones I have. Now, one of the things I suggest also is when you take stuff out of the box, put anything that's not a full stack back into the box again so that you can go ahead and just grab the full stacks out. The same thing over here with our steel beams. We'll take 1 stack out, and then we'll put the lowest stack back. And then we're just going to grab a bunch of full stack steel beams. Now, make sure that you also glance through here to see if there's anything that you don't need to carry on you in that moment. Like I can tell you, I don't need to carry this coal. I don't need to carry these boosters right here. Basically, those power shards and whatnot. There we go. That is true. Okay, what else do I not need? AI limiters. I probably don't need those right now. Let's put those away. I do need beacons, but those I can make in route. Do I need this 1 stator? No. We'll keep the rotors for now. And that's basically going to slim down my inventory like that. Do I need to carry plastic and rubber on me? Probably not. So let's go ahead and put those back in their appropriate box here. Put a little plastic in that one. And then a bit of rubber in here. Now, our ultimate goal is to have it producing every resource for us automatically where we don't have to do anything, right? And then make it where we can scale that resource to any level, right? So if we need 10 of that item, we'll scale it to 10. If we need to then make 1,000 of that item, then we can scale it to 1,000. And that's what I'm building here in this particular base, is where I can scale it to an infinite number. As many as I possibly want to do based on how many resources are actually in the entire world. And I could tap every single resource and bring every single one in. It would take a long time to do that, but not as long when you're using trains. Trains are a much better way, I think, logistic-wise. And now they also have the ability to see how many they're bringing in per minute. so you don't have to run your conveyors. Now, conveyors are a lot more consistent and they don't require any power, where trains do. Trains require power, and thus you need more power to make more trains, and you need then more trains to make more power, and you see that kind of endless loop that happens. That's that kind of game loop. That's pretty awesome. I enjoy the game loop of the game big time. Now, I feel like I'm going to probably need some more concrete here, so let's go ahead, jump back this way, cut across, and same thing here with concrete. Now, again, when I pull this out of here, because this is all inline production, it'll automatically start back up my concrete production, fill this box up, and again, I have 5 more boxes on top of this box, so I literally have 6 boxes of concrete already backlogged and ready to go if I need it. Am I going to need that much? Probably not for me or for the hub, but I'm definitely going to need it for production later on because I'm using less nodes and then they're building a giant backlog of item versus using more nodes that uses more power and more stuff because we have the power of time. So even if it runs slower, we can get it done because it's literally going to run 24/7 for 7 days until we come back next week and we play again, right? So I only play once per week. So very, very powerful thing once you get that power of time. Now I do the same thing here with the rest of my stuff. I would go ahead and just look through that these are kind of full stacks. Cable's okay there. These are all okay. I feel like we might be pretty good there. So let's go ahead and start with first things first. Let's go ahead and pop on down here. Wish my light would stay on too. Gotta keep turning that thing on all the time. First things first, let's go ahead and run over here by where we have our hypertube right now. And this is all water and coal and all that stuff being run up to that. So here's our hypertube. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our main kind of train tracker line. And then over on this side, as we expand further and further out, we're going to add more and more power here. And eventually this whole area will be covered because I'm going to build an absolute massive factory this time. One of my favorite parts of the game, and the reason why I grabbed a bunch of concrete is the fact that I'm going to expand this a little bit as we're going along here. Now, it does have this really great function that they added to the game called zooping, where you can literally just go boom like that and put a bunch of those foundations down. It's really, really super helpful. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of tie a bunch of this together. You can see that we were running some out that way as well. And so try to get that to connect. There we go. And so I'm actually going to put the train a bit off to the side. Now, I've left room underneath this thing right here so that the train can actually come out the end here or elbow. And you're going to eventually we'll have tons and tons of trains coming in and out of there, dropping off various resources from remote locations. But the first thing we need to do is we need to get our train going. Now, one of the other cool things, if you've ever seen elevated trains or stacked trains, is that you can put your trains vertically. They don't have to just be next to each other. They could also be vertically, and that's really super efficient. That's why they have multiple double-decker freeways and things like that. It's just more space efficient in the way that you run it. And if you've already run one, you just build up a higher, and then you run another one, right? And then people are building suspension bridges and all sorts of stuff. Saw really cool stuff that people were working on in that dev thing the other day. I typically don't watch other people's videos on Satisfactory, but I do enjoy watching those dev videos where they're kind of showing the community builds, or if someone puts it in my thing, then I'll look at it there on the Discord. Okay, so what we want to do is go ahead and get our track started. Now, see how the track's going over here? I'm scrolling up and down, and for some reason this is not rotating. Why are you not rotating? Scrolling up and down should rotate. That's rotating. Doesn't matter anyway, everybody. I got my chainsaw. Doesn't matter anyway. What we really need room for here is a station. Right? So we're going to go ahead and build this out. And again, this whole area is going to get built out all the way out there. And we're going to grab a bunch of resources from out there, from down below and all of that. But what I need is I need a train station. That train station is going to be basically along here. So the train's going to come in, drop off the oil, and then I'm actually going to build the oil out in that direction, and that leaves me room in the other direction to build out more coal later on. So let's go ahead and put down our initial train station. Now, depending on what type of train you're going to create, whether it's a kind of a circular train where it comes back around, or a push-pull train, is the direction of your train station. This is vitally important. When you go to put your train station down, oh, look at the sun rising. When you go to put your train station down, this arrow is what's going to make it work or make it fail. Right? So if I'm using two train engines, and I'm going to do a push-pull train on this particular train, and later on we'll change it so that we can use the tracks for multiple things. But to start with, we're going to do push-pull because that's the easiest, right? So what we can do is we can go ahead and set up this train track, and we're going to make sure that we put it in the right direction. Let's say right about there. And we'll put that down, and we'll go ahead and take a look at its features. So it's actually facing in this direction, right? So one of the trains are going to need to be facing this way, and then we'll take the other one that's on the other side and turn it the other way, right? So you want to have it in two separate directions. So the train that's going this way is going toward this train, and the train on the back this way is going toward the other ones, all right? So you got your two trains, and they're going together in two separate directions, right? So this one is pulling this one along, like that, and then so on and so forth. You get the idea. You're going to see me do it live here on stream. So let's go ahead and get to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and widen this out as well. Now I typically run a 3-wide run when I'm doing trains, and I want to leave a little bit of room here too, just because I want to build stuff in between there for my trains, and I definitely want to leave a lot of room for me to build out all of the oil production. Now, that oil production is going to include fuel, plastic, rubber, and of course, power, which is the ultimate thing that we're going to be working on. Now, down there, below my coffee cup and my little avatars that are running around down there, there are actually a bunch of sets down there that we can switch. So if we hold down the Option key here, or Alt key, we can rotate between those different sets of items that we're going to use. Now, currently, my first set is just a basic set of me running conveyors and splitters and lifters and all of that. The second set I typically use for piping, so when I'm running water pipes and things of that nature. My third set here is for running hypertubes, which is basically your transport system that you can use. Fourth set is kind of a mixture of both pipes and hypertubes for when I'm running water up and down, which you'll see in one of my things. This is another set. Set number 5 for running wall holes or floor holes, where you're running stuff through the actual foundations, which you can do now, which if you haven't seen that, it's pretty awesome. And then, of course, more hypertube stuff and whatnot. But we're going to go to number 7, which is currently empty. We're going to go ahead and go into our builder mode, hitting Q. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put down what we want these command keys to be. So the railway track is going to be number 1. Right, so I can just press number 1 on the side of my mouse or on my keyboard and go from there. I knew I was going to get some message here. Okay, dinner is ready. So we might take a quick break for dinner, everybody, and then we'll come back. I'll just eat something real quick and come back. So we'll take a break in a minute, but I want to get this started first. So we have our train track. We have our train station. You can rename the train stations if you want. And I'm going to actually do that this time. I rarely read. It used to get all messed up when you rename the train station. But I'm going to go ahead and rename it here. And I'm going to call it Oil Hub. Let's call it Oil Hub 1. Or not. Okay. Oil Hub. Okay, now it changes to 01. That's freaky. Okay, whatever. Remember, I don't make the games, everybody. All right, Oil Hub up there. So that's going to be our Oil Hub, which is where it's going to bring all of our oil to. And then maybe put oil source, oil main extraction, whatever you want to put in there. It's your game. You put whatever you want. Now, what I'm going to do is take the railway, and I'm going to connect it to this. Now, one of the things you want to do is make sure that you're doing this nice and straight. The more bends and curves into here, and sometimes it's kind of awkward because it's not snapping to the grid. The more bends and curves you put into it, the more it slows down the train as it's going along. I try to make it go as straight as possible. My curves are usually a bit wider so that it doesn't have to slow down in the curves as much. and so on. Now, one of the things I don't like about this particular one is the fact that it's not centered. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this right back out again. We'll have to rename it again. And when we take it out, funky happening, take it out, there we go. Then basically it's going to give me all the resources back, and I can go ahead and put it down again. So I'm going to try to center it a little bit. I'm going to look at the direction of the arrow. Okay, the arrow's going in the right direction. I'm going to put it right on the edge of the foundation here, just so I'm kind of starting a bit center. I believe that's fairly centered there. Let's go ahead and put it down, take a look at it. Okay. And then we can look at it to see how well centered it is. No, it's kind of a little left there. Now, again, you can take it out as many times as you need to, and then kind of keep going. All right, weirdly, that you can't get it in the center there. All right, stop switching my stuff here. And then also what I can do is I can go in and I can actually set the train station to number 2. So again, I don't have to go in this menu anymore. I can just press 2 and I can bring it back up again. So let's try that again. This time, hopefully a little bit better. In the center. And hopefully it's going the right direction. Let's take a look at how it's lining up. That looks like it's lining up pretty good, pretty centered on that foundation. Very, very nice, like that. And again, we'll go through, we'll rename the station Oil Hub. And I don't know why it's not taking the name, but it did take the name up there. It just didn't update it in the thing until you open it, close it, and then reopen it. All right, so this thing also has no power. We want to go ahead and tap the power directly from our power plants, which you can see are right here. And they're directly connected to all of this. We'll want to go ahead and add also the ability to run power lines. So we'll go under our power. We're going to go ahead and add that to number 3 down below there. And that's going to allow me to go ahead and tie this right to the actual station. Now, one of the cool things is, if you notice over here that I have these power poles that are running along here, well, I'm actually going to be able to eliminate those because the actual power runs through the railroad tracks right there. So what I'm going to do is just do a line or two here of railroad tracks, and we are going to need way more concrete and way more stuff here, plates. We're just going to widen that out right there. We're going to then connect it over here. Again, I just love the way that this thing connects. And we can hold down Shift or Control, by the way, to try to keep that to go straight. And then we're just going to go until it turns red. See how it turns red? That means that I've gone past this max distance in which I can run that particular segment of the train tracks. So I need to kind of back up. Now, what I do is I typically will try to just match it up to the edge of the foundation. It just makes it easier. And then, as you can see, it's going to go ahead and fill that in. Hopefully, we did it perfectly straight. Yes, it looks really good. That's really nice and straight. So our train's going to be full speed. It's going to come out of there and go full speed. Now, you're like, well, Kismet, if you do a round track, it's going to go faster. Well, actually, it doesn't go faster. You know why? Because when it goes to the train station and it stops, it stops. Its acceleration goes to 0. So it doesn't matter whether it's a circle or whether it's a push-pull train. It's got to come in, it's got to stop, it's got to drop off the stuff, and then accelerate again. So it doesn't matter whether it circles around. Circling around, I find, is more resources, and it also takes up more space. But I could easily do it right here because I've left a lot of room for it to function. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to run this sucker all along the whole entire thing, all right? We'll come back. I'll show you how to do that, show you some more of my awesome tips on how to run trains in Satisfactory, and it's going to be super fun. This is one of my favorite parts of the game, by the way, is when you finally get to trains and you start optimizing your whole entire production, your ability to get resources and bring them back, right? So I'm going to take a quick break. I'll run down there, chew a little bit of food, and then be back in just a little bit. So enjoy these AFK highlights, and I shall be right back. All right, I'm back live, everybody. Like, Kismet, man, you've been streaming a lot, bro. I know, right? I'm going all in. We got an update over here on our battle. Let me go ahead and run this update. Try not to click the wrong buttons. Do this over here. There we go. All right, we got to run an update. I don't know why it is that they update that a lot, but that's a good thing, I guess. Update some stream writers, then we're going to do some battles here in just a second. I just had a bad lizard doggo. Uh-oh. Did he try to get you? Unforgiven said, hey, kids, why did Star Wars Saga go 5, 6, 7, then 1, 2, 3? It's because Yoda was in charge of the casting. Well, he'd be in charge of the, in the writing, actually, in that case. But I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, Yoda got it out of order. Such is the way it goes. All right, let's go ahead and get to a battle here. I've got to update this and reload all of this, and we're going to get our battle going on. I appreciate your patience, everybody. I had to get something to eat there. Spent a few minutes with the family. They're all off doing their homeworks now. All of my daughters, by the way, all 3 of them are in the Honor Society, everybody. I'm very proud of them for that. They work very, very hard on that. They're smart like my wife. I am work hard smart, everybody. They're like smart. If you know the difference, you know what I'm talking about, right? We're the kind of people that have to like reread the same paragraph over and over and over and over and over until we actually understand it, where they're like, okay, I get it. And they go on to the next one. Meanwhile, we're there reading it over and over and over again, right? That kind of thing. All right, let's get in here. Let's go ahead and start a battle. There we go. Okay, now it's ready. Let's do it. To battle! All right, getting all sorts of notifications over here. Let's check in on these retweets. How we doing? Have we got any more? Right over here. Oh, we're up to 7. All right, up to 7 retweets. We get 3 more, everybody. I'm going to give you another 1,000 Kiss Cats. Follow that second link. Go up there, hit that like button, hit that retweet button. Yeah, he brought a radioactive waste. That happens. I remember on one of those dev streams that they, let me get the battle going here. I remember on one of those dev streams, they were talking about how you could feed the lizard doggo the radiation. That's pretty messed up, man. That's messed up big time. Poor lizard doggo. I love how they have giant lizard doggo plushies. That's pretty cool. Hey, now that I think about it, where's my Fix-It cup? I ordered one of them Fix-It cups forever ago. I have to follow up on that. I better make a note. Where's my Fix-It cup? Put it over there in my to-do list, along with 1,000 other things I got on that list. Let's go. Oh, we're owning these guys. Oh, rolling right over them. Bye-bye, suckers. And you're out of there. Nice. All right, open the captain's chest. Oh, we're getting some more enemies there. Grant some love. Codewig, Reaper getting some love. Now remember, the more units you guys put down, the more of this rewards I'm able to give away. It's automatic. And of course, I always slide it to you guys, giving you guys maximum loot here in the stream. Let's see, MS Chops coming in with big numbers there. 25 kills is our MVP. Akia with all 6 units down, helping us out. Very nice. Let's keep going one step closer to getting that going on. Now, we got a lot more still to go here in the stream, everybody, so settle in. We're going to fire it up here. Let's go ahead and do another Saint over here. Say right there's a good spot. There we go. Let's do some more battle plans. Let's say right there. And like that. There we go. Get that out of there. And we're good to go. We'll come back to that in about 30 minutes. All right. And then we'll go ahead and pick this up here. And we are just going to keep filling this in. We should probably go back and get some more resources. Oh, I forgot to pick up my car, too. As you're running this, by the way, you definitely want to bring your car with you so that you can run back so you don't have to walk real slow. Though I do have my blade thing, so I can go a little bit faster, but I prefer to have my little car. This is actually like my favorite thing in the game, everybody, is this little car. Because I feel like if some gigantic multi-quadrillion space corporation sent you down to a planet, this is exactly what they would give you. They would give you this little junky little car that costs the least amount of money. That's how corporations are. saving that extra few nickels So they sent you just a junky car to get that going. All right, so we're going to need a bunch of concrete here. Let's put back the small stack. Let's get a bunch of that going. And then, of course, we're going to need a bunch of this. Now, of course, by doing this, we could end up with cutting off the power as well. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, missed it. Got kind of a ghost car here. Ghost car. And not only do you want to bring enough resources for the train and the track, but you want to bring enough to extend your foundations as well. So we're going to do some massive foundation extensions here. And then as we extend those, we're also going to extend our actual track itself. And then we'll go ahead and pick up the factory cart. Come on, there we go. Oh, not enough room right now. All right, no worries, no worries. We'll do this first. And we're definitely going to be burning through a ton of this very, very quickly here. And again, we want to look at how wide this is. So let's say right here. And we'll go about 4 wide on that. Sort this out. Anything else in here? Probably get rid of the portable miner. We don't need to lug that around. There we go. All we need to do is be able to pick this up, and then we can just go ahead and put it in our hands, and then we do have an empty slot. I can always make that miner thing again. Okay, then here. Now, I forget how many this is. Let's go ahead and say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 12. So 12, about 12 foundations long. Man, I haven't looked at that in a long time. 12 foundations long. Try to make it nice and straight. Again, we're trying to keep it as straight as possible. That looks fairly straight. Sometimes it starts to do this wobbling when you're running it. We'll see how it goes. Now, our main goal today here in Satisfactory is to just get our train from where we're at all the way to where our oil is. And this is going to be quite the undertaking because this is quite the long way. And we've already put the outside edge, which is this edge here. That's actually as wide out as we can go. And then we start to get radiated when we get beyond the map edge. And then we're just going to run this a bit out. Now, the reason why I'm running this part out a little bit over here is because I'm also going to build out a bunch of oil factories here. But you're going to see me start to slim it down to just 3 or 4 out, just to this far out here in just a moment. So let's do this. Now, I don't count anymore, everybody. I don't count how many I go. I just go until it turns red. And then I just kind of line it up on the center. And I let it run like that. And then we'll do the same thing again. It's just easier. Now, if it goes beyond the amount of foundations that I have, like that, I'll just hit tab to cancel. And then I'll just go ahead and now kind of switch over to running this basically at 3 wide. Because it doesn't really need to be any wider than that for right now. And again, you'll see me kind of backlog it just so it lines up with that. You want to make as long segments as possible because if you do need to modify them or adjust them later on, it does help you a lot. Now I'm going to hit F like Frank. So I'm going to act like I'm going to take out that foundation, but I'm not. I'm actually going to hit middle mouse button so that it actually picks up the foundation and allows me to keep running those foundations. You might notice that kind of an unusual thing that I normally don't do is that I'm using the thinner foundations in this particular build because we decided we're going to go with the thinner ones this time, just to give us more space. Now again, see how easy it is to not be able to see whether this is straight or not. It actually is a little annoying that it doesn't give you like a green line to let you know that you are going perfectly straight as well. But I don't know, I'm sure they could add indicators that would tell you when it's straight and when it's not straight. Because you don't really know. And again, later on, you'll find that all of a sudden your track's like this. It's a little wobbly, even though it looks straight when you were working on it. So I just try to eyeball it as best I can as I'm going. Again, you can hold down like Shift, Control. You can try all of those commands, but I usually find just try to line it up visually straight and you're good. Now I could just run ahead, by the way, and just re-put it. I could put in all of these foundations ahead of time, but I'm going to end up coming back anyway to run the line, so I might as well just run it while I'm going, and then by the time I get to the other end, I'll have it all done. And I'll probably go 2 forward here. And well, the amazing thing is this, everybody. Look how far back that is. And I was able to click that from way over here, basically like 12 foundations away or more, and click that and then bring that forward. That's pretty amazing, actually. Pretty amazing how precise this game is. And how wonderfully thought out it is as well. Again, I highly recommend it, whether you grab it up on Epic or if you grab it on the Steam. Either way, an absolute 11 out of 10 game. Now, if you go and buy it, I don't get nothing out of it, so you know I'm telling it to you straight. I don't have any affiliate links or any of that stuff. If you enjoy these kind of building games, I would absolutely look at Satisfactory. Again, one of my favorite games of all time now. I absolutely love this game. I'm purposely playing it a bit slower so that I don't burn myself out on it before it does actually release. It's still in early access, and it's an 11 out of 10 in early access, I think. Very rarely do I rate early access games because they're not quite finished, but this game is awesome. Absolutely awesome for sure. All right, a little bit closer to get that snap. All right, I don't think it's getting my thing. There we go. Just hoping that's straight. I love this part too. It's called zooping, where you can just do like 10 of them at a time. Oh my gosh, you used to have to do them one at a time, everybody. One frame at a time. And I've done giant bases just doing one frame at a time. No mods, I don't use any mods. Reason why I don't is because the game's not even released yet. I only use mods when I've run out of game content, typically. Because I don't want to ruin the experience for the game when it's still being produced. So that's typically why I don't use them, but I have used mods before, and I appreciate the modding community. They do make amazing mods for a lot of games that I've played in the past. Big love to all the modders out there. And we can kind of see where the end is over there. That's where we're going. So we'll just keep on keeping on. Now, I like to leave room over here to the side. Notice I'm not putting it right up against here. This is so I can drive along here, or I could automate vehicles. I could also send vehicles over here if I wanted to, collecting this and bringing it back. We might do a combination of all of those just to have some fun, right? Just to have some fun. Now, I remember when I first tried to automate vehicles, they would go about halfway. They get back. They come back and they run out of fuel. Very important to have the proper distance for fuel, refueling your vehicles for sure. And they've actually added some more kind of smart ways of doing vehicle fuel, which is really cool. And we'll get into all of that stuff at some point, hopefully. Now, I'm about to run out of the ability to do these. I only got 60 of these plates left. So what I'm going to do is basically use this to my advantage. I'm going to go ahead and get the car here, and I'm going to try to put it on here. But I can't put it on it because I don't have a beacon. Well, before I run out of resources, I'm going to go ahead and make one of these kind of equipment workshops here. Then that's going to allow me to go in, use the equipment workshop, and make some of these beacons. Because luckily I've brought the resources. So I didn't really need to keep the resources in my inventory. I could just go in and make it when I need it. And then again, emotive. Now, we want to make sure this thing's going the right direction, so we can go like that. Now, I'm actually going to aim it back toward the base, because I want to go get some resources. So, here we go. Our first train ride, at least in this playthrough. Look at this, right off the side, everybody. I love to put the train on the side. Now, one of the things you got to watch out for, and I'll show you when we get there, is when you get in and off the train. Now, right now, the train's going 120 kilometers per hour. So this is really like among the fastest speed in the game. The only time that it goes faster is when it's going downhill. It'll actually gain momentum and go even faster. But to go down a hill, that means you eventually have to go up a hill too. Now, I find the actual cost of going down a hill and up a hill, depending on its angle, actually be very efficient. And some hills, when there's very slight hill, it's actually very efficient. Now, one of the things it's not going to do is run past the train track, or past the train station. It's just going to stop. Then I go ahead and get out of the train track. Now, if you notice what side I got off on, hold on, I will go back in. Watch what side I got off on. On the left side, right? So it put me on, well, basically in this case, right side. I guess if you turn it this way, on the right side. So that's why I put the things the way it is. So it's going to put me over here, and it's put me on the right side of the train. Now, the train that's going to go the other way, the right side is going to be the outside. So be real careful. If you get off the train somewhere in between there, going the opposite direction, you could actually fall off the side of the train. I find that most of the time you don't. Because the track is in the center of the thing and not on the edge, it'll actually put you on the side of the train, and then you still got a little bit of room, so you won't fall off. So that's why I put it in the center for that reason, getting in and off the train. Now I've also got my little vehicle here, so we're going to throw that down. There's something definitely funky with these vehicles going on there. We'll go ahead and run back over here. And we'll stock up on some more resources. We can kind of look and see how much we've used so far. We're doing a good job. Wow, we used up a lot of that concrete and whatnot. Now, again, while we were gone, see, it made all of the resources before. And again, we'll just stock this up. And then we'll do the same thing with plates. Any small stacks of plate we'll just take out. We'll try to balance this in there nicely. There we go. And back down. Oh, and at least that other one went away. So there we go. Now, when it comes to game development or software development in general, whenever you fix one thing, 3 more things break. Whenever you fix 2 things, 5 more things break. General software development there, I find. Not just game development, but software in general. All right, so we're going to hit F. We're going to go ahead and take out our train, not our train station, hopefully, and then put our train down, but we're going to put it in the opposite direction this time. Oh, I dropped some resources. Oh, I lost my resources because I was full. I should have thought of that. My bad. Oh, boy. Where did those resources go? I think they went in this box. Okay, so I lost some of my resources there. What can we get rid of? Yeah, I don't want to get rid of any of this. I guess plates. We have enough plates. Let's get rid of plates. Let's get rid of this. Take that. Yeah, okay, it's more of this. Let's get rid of the small one. Small stack. Get that back. All right, my bad. My bad. I forgot. I filled my inventory and didn't have enough room to get the resources back. Boom. Okay, there we go. We got that. Let's pick up our little car. There we go. Back on the train. That's one of the cool things about doing trains is the fact that if you run power to it, it's actually running the power as you're going along. So now we're going to be going in the opposite direction, everybody. Let's see if I fall to my death. Always part of the fun. We might go swimming here in a minute. We're at maximum speed here. Now you can actually automate these trains so they'll go back and forth on their own. You don't have to drive them. Though I am driving it right now. I'm holding down E. All right, let's see if I fall to my death. Survey says, oh, like I said, it's going to give you that little edge, right? Very scary. Vada scare. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put our car back in there, and then this should allow us to get our locomotive back. Our inventory, there we go. And now we can just keep on keeping on over here. Connect this into the edge. Now what we're doing is we're coming up into a curve here. I'm going to show you a bit about doing curves. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this out just a little bit here. And we're going to actually bring this a little bit closer into this kind of 3-run here that we're going to do around the corner. So we're going to go ahead and now not so worry about kind of max length of our lines, because you can see this line can go pretty far. It could go right here. But we want to think about actually turning the corner. Now, I strongly suggest going back by at least 2 foundations. So we want it to turn and go this way. So this one will be the center foundation. And then we're going to go back by 2 to right about here. And then the trick part of this is to go to the other side of this, right? So you got 2 forward, you got this curve, you've got 2 here. And then just go ahead and put this down here and run this next bit of line if we have enough space. Ooh, not quite, not quite. All right, let's run more of this. Like that. Before you do the corner, kind of do the 2 sides first, basically. So 1, 2, and then we have a quarter 1, 1, 2. And then we're going to, again, try to start this right down the center. We'll say right there. And we'll run this to its maximum length. This is how I found quarters are a lot easier, because it's going to basically resolve itself a little bit better. And then also your tracks are already going to be straight. One of the problems with coming out around a corner is that the corner will make it where it kind of does that little wonkiness. So I suggest to put your corners in last and literally just do this. Now, one of the problems with this particular one is it says that the railroad turn is too sharp. Now, what we can do is we can do E for quick switches, where we can switch from different items, right? That's not going to help us. We want to go ahead and basically get this to turn the corner. Now, what I can also do is kind of do a bit of a half turn like this, right, into that corner, and then take this and try to basically make it match up a little bit better in the corner. Now, I'm a fan of not doing sharp turns in the corner because it really does slow down your train. So here's what we're going to do is going to move this back by 1 more right over here. I don't want my train to slow down. I want it to go as fast as it possibly can into that turn and then go as fast as it can back up to acceleration. Because remember, it's going to be automated eventually. I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there when it comes around this corner and then it goes to do the next section. And so we'll do the same thing here. Now we're 3 out and then corner 1 and then take this out. And then again, it doesn't matter what the distance of this particular segment is. It only matters how we're going into the turn. So right here, 1, 2, and this would be 3. Like this. And then this is going to be a much wider turn. And then there you go. You've got your wider turn. And I call that like the perfect corner. And it's now going to, that one's going to be straight. This one's going to be straight. When it goes into there, of course, now it's dark because that's just how this game is, or every game whenever I'm explaining stuff. You can see now that you've got this beautiful corner. Now, I like to build out a little bit in the corner just in case I need to stop there for whatever reason, just to make sure that that's working. But now we've got that really nice corner. So centerpiece, 3 in this direction, 3 additional ones. So it's really would be 4 that way, right? Or if you count it the other way, it'd be 4 that way. But you have your center one, 3 out this way, 3 out the other side. Make the 2 side pieces first, and then put in the corner. And then it'd be easy mode. Easy mode, everybody. You don't have to worry about your corners making the future track be all like this, right? I've had that problem many, many times with trains where I'll come out of the corner, I'll run the line, run a corner, and then I'll come out of there, and then the track will be doing this, right? It's kind of snaking. I don't like that. I like it to be, again, as straight and as beautiful as possible. There you go. I think it's time to restart the server. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I might do that after the stream. We'll see. Speaking of, man, I gotta need to get this going on. We need to get this done. Now, again, our big goal here is to get this done and get it backlogging a bunch of oil. So it's going over here, grabbing the oil, bringing the oil back to our primary base, and then it's just going to build a massive backlog of oil, and then we'll go ahead and get that oil started up next time. But we got to stay focused here, because we also want to spend some time playing some Terraformers, because I got another Learn to Play for you guys. I think it's going to be awesome. Awesome. Now, I've never played it, so we'll learn to play it together unless you're already a pro. And if you are a pro, when we get to that one, whenever I'm doing a Learn to Play segment, this is not a Learn to Play segment, when you see Learn to Play in the title, or you see it say Backseat Game All You Want in the title, we override that no backseat gaming rule. Which is typically whenever I'm playing a game. I typically don't like people to backseat game because, you know, I like to make mistakes and learn from my mistakes. I'm going to remember them much more that way. And then also you can see my thought processes of how I solve those kind of problems or figure out solutions to those issues as well. And you never know. See, when someone comes up with a solution, they might come up with a different solution than what you might have came up with or what I might have come up with. And then, of course, you combine solutions even better. I find that for every idea, sometimes when you combine ideas, you combine good ideas together, it makes it all the better. And I've worked with some of the top people in the world, everybody. Incredibly, incredibly great peeps. Been very, very lucky in my career. And I find that collaboration is incredibly vital to creating great products or doing great work. Incredibly important. If you're not a great team player, then I don't want to work with you. I don't want to work with those peeps because it is exhausting. Very, very exhausting to work with those kind of peeps. Okay. Now we're almost there. To this ramp here. And I think that's probably good right there. Now what we're going to do is finish out the rest of this here. And we're going to put in our train station way at the end here. Let's just put a few of these in here and then we'll go fine-tune the end of this. That across. There we go. Fill that in. All right. Now, see this ramp right here? You're like, oh, Kismet, you're going to do a ramp so you can put the train down there? Nope. I'm not going to make the train go down there. The train doesn't need to go anywhere but stay up at this level. You know why? Because I can bring the oil to it. I don't need to bring the train down there. There's no reason for me to make it go down, which actually would make it go really fast, but then coming up, it would go really slow, especially if it's on a super steep thing like this. But I could have made it where it did a longer ramp, and that does help a lot on its speed coming up. And then, of course, it would speed up even more on the flat area. But just like this right here that I'm running this up, there's no need for me to actually run the train down there as well. So now we also want to make sure that we line this up with this. Now, we've got a bit of a problem of the hypertubes being in the way. So we got to watch out for that as well. But we can go ahead and maybe just modify this last one. Pull that one out for right now. And then extend the outer part here just to make sure that none of this stuff is in the way and that we have plenty of room for what we want to do. Right there. There we go. And again, our goal is to line it up nice and straight. So we want to go ahead and get our train station. Want to kind of think of it in the center here. That's pretty good. Oh, which way did I have the arrow? I wasn't even watching. I have it that way? I did. Okay. Now, this actually gives an indication of which way the train station is. This is going to be in the direction of the arrow or kind of in the backside of the arrow. So we know that this is actually turned the correct way. But just to make sure, I would take it out again if you don't remember. I'm going to go ahead and take it out just so I can make sure that that arrow is facing in this direction so we don't end up having a trouble with our push-pull train. And again, something like that. And then we'll go ahead and finish this off right into that train station. Now, the cool thing is that this train station has power. And you're like, well, how did it get power? Because you haven't run power to it. Well, it gets some power right now from the train track. The train track is actually running power. We don't even need to run this power anymore right here. We can actually take all that power out and then simply go in and connect the train station on this side into the power. And then now it'll run down the track through here, across there, and run straight down into there. Now let's go ahead and add back in our hypertube here. And okie dokie, something like this. Now, because of the soft clearance, you can actually run it right through the middle of there. And I can say, well, I cut it out and, I RP that in. I don't like doing that, everybody. I don't like it clipping for any reason. I don't think it's necessary to clip because I can actually divert it like this. And then we'll go ahead and make these too high like that. There we go. We can just go ahead and divert it like so. So it's actually not going through the middle. But you can totally do that if you want. It's not going to really have any effect other than the fact if you do stop in the middle of the hypertube, it could bump into this. But I always divert it anyway. Okay, so now we have it going. So we're ready to rock here. We just need to go down here, and we need to bring that oil up here to the top. Now, another thing that we probably want to do is figure out how we're going to get the oil from here to down to there. Now, what we're going to need is we're going to need a fluid platform to go along with this. So, again, that's why I leave this gap here so that I can go ahead and take that out. I can go ahead and add the fluid platform here to the back of this. Now, of course, you can turn the direction or whatnot. But one of the things you can see that it says, hey, the floor is too steep. Why is it? Because it doesn't have enough foundations over here. So make sure you go ahead and widen out your foundations. And then again, we're going to put this on our bar as the fluid freight because oil is a fluid, right? So there we go. Now we need to decide which side our inputs and outputs are going to be on, right? Now, obviously, we've already got this running, so we could use that same thing to let it run. So we're going to turn it this way. It doesn't really matter which way you turn the inputs, only for your ability to run lines and run it in there. So we're going to extend this out just a bit here, just to make it easier for us to work with these inputs and outputs. Now, whenever you see a green arrow like this, that means this is an output. Whenever you see the three kind of orange lines, those are inputs. So we want to go ahead and change this a little bit and take this out here. And we want to go ahead and see if we can just go ahead and add our pipes here. Organization, no, logistics. There we go. Logistics, stackable wall pipe, and we'll just go ahead and put it in the same position. We're going to go back to our pipe set here. We'll do that battle here in just a second. And then we're just going to run that down into there. So we could actually use the pre-existing runs here that we've already done and use those for our pipes. Let's go way down here. There we go. And again, we'll replace the hypertubes with this. And this. Now what it's going to do is it's going to run that oil in. And inside here, it has the ability to hold 2,400 oil. Now I could tell you at some point when I crank this oil up and I connect all the other oil, that ain't going to be enough. That is so not going to be enough for sure. So while I'm replacing these lines that are going to go down here and run all the way down to the oil area, I'm going to go ahead and run a battle. So let's do that. To battle! All right, everybody, let's go ahead and do this battle. We're going to go ahead and give you guys a range boost. Let's go. How we doing? All right, another win. Awesome. 1 second, let me run this line. All right, open the captain's chest. Give you guys some love. Oh, look at that. Rose got her a Saint scroll. Jobson getting some gold. Akia walking away with some vampire scrolls there. And Akia showing you how it's done right there. There we go. 20 assists and MVP with all 6 units placed. That's another 1,000 Kismet for everybody in the chat. You can thank Akia for that one. Nice job. Also, Code Wing bringing in also 6 units there. I see you there, Code Wing. Great job. Or Code Wig. Great job on that. All right, some more scrolls here. A little bit more gold. We did the battle plans now. Let's go ahead and do our quest real quick in case another one opens up before we start the next battle. All right, and again, we're going to be running for a while here. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this one going. Now, if there's any of them you want to join us for, it's this one, everybody, because you can get a free skin from this one. You can also win one here on the stream. So you definitely want to get in here. You want to put some of your best units down. Make sure you put down lots of healing and tanks and DPS. We're going to go on the high side here. Up here, try to push our way in, make them come up to us. And then, of course, boost all of your range damage. Try to get you guys maximum loot. Let's go. All right. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and roughly 5. So what I need to do is I need to kind of split the distance here. Oops. I accidentally just put an extra one in there. What I'm trying to do is split the distance here so that the pipes actually go. One of the problems with the pipe is they don't go as far as the hyper tubes. So we want to go ahead and go in and basically replace this bottom hyper tube.
So lucky that you found this most valuable artifact.
Yeah, right there. She's so freaky when she's saying that stuff. All right, and then about halfway. So we want to kind of count this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. Oh, God! Thought I heard something. Wow! Where's my weapon? Ah, God, that scared me. I get so used to the mobs not being around that they sneak up on you. Whew. Case in point, Kismet is easily jump scared, everybody. I mean, you saw my mouse move. It scared me so much. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go at 4 right here. Of course, there's Fred over there. Thanks for the heads up there, Fred. Fred rarely ever gives me a heads up when the mobs are after me. All right, we're almost there, everybody. Let's get this done. Then we can play a little bit of Terraformers. Get that going on as well. Then we'll rest up. We're going to come back later. We're going to play Dune Spice Wars later on. Oh, maybe I need to put another one here in between. Let's just put one in between, make this easy. Again, we're running pipes right now. Across here. And then again, we'll take out this bottom one and add a pipe support in there instead. And we're basically just kind of back running our pipe from way up there to down here. Going to make it a lot easier than bringing the train down. I can tell you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'm just kind of splitting the difference. Normally you want to go 6 with your conveyors. But I'm just kind of splitting the difference. Now, you can see that we've got all of this stuff going here. Now, I think I have enough room to tear this down, because we literally just want to tear all this down. We don't need any of this anymore, so we're just going to go ahead and tear all this down. You can see I've even got an awesome sink over here. We want to eventually kind of redo our power. Uh-oh, look at me. Look at me dropping stuff. Must have dropped some stuff there at some point. Come here. Ah. No dropping loot. All right, take this out. All this refinery stuff out. Now, one thing I can tell you I'm not going to be taking out are these boxes. And the reason why is these boxes over here are full of various loot that I'm definitely not going to be able to carry out of here right now. Maybe we'll add a freight train later on, or we won't even bother because we won't need it really. All we need to do is we need to get this extractor, this oil extractor with 240 crude, to run that back to where we were. Now, I just realized that this hypertube is coming downward here. So let's go ahead and fix this just a little bit. We're going to take all this back out. We're going to add a pipe support. And then we'll go into transport and we'll add the stackable hypertube up above. And we'll go ahead and bring this forward first. And then our hypertube, run that out as well. Now, really, we're not going to really need our hypertube at this point. In fact, I should probably put a stop up here, meaning a gap in the hypertube, so that I could go all the way down, end up here at the train station. And if I did want to come down here, I could then come down, depending on whether I need to work on the train station or whether I need to work down onto this level. But I can tell you that that's pretty much it. All we need to do is just kind of pull out all this excess stuff. Ah, I hate it when boxes are way up there. Must have been pulling stuff out at some point. All right, that's going to be a good one. Let's get up here. Let's get our coffee cup back so it's not obscuring our view. Oh, I think I almost had it there. Almost. All right, come on, just use the ladder. All right, this is tricky. Oh, I had it. Oh, I'm trying to click that button in the center. That's tough. That's double tough. Now, I could just build a ramp up there, everybody, but kind of fun to try to get it, right? See if you can get it without building anything. Take all. Got it. All right, awesome. Let's keep going. Take out all of this stuff. Again, not going to need any of this pipes. I can reuse all these resources. Reuse all of those resources. And we'll come back for all of that. Okay, so again, our only goal is to take this, run it into there, and have it run the rest of that way. And all we really need now is a connection directly to this. There we go. Now, we also reduced our power usage right there as well. And then we're going to go ahead and work a bit on our stackable hypertube. We'll put it over here. We'll then bring the hypertube over. I hate it when it does that right when I click it. Try that again. There we go. And we can just switch to hypertubes here. Put our entrance in. Go ahead and connect the power to our entrance. And there we go. So we could use the hypertube also if we wanted to. And there we go. So now this is going to start pumping black gold up that thing. Now, one of the problems with the pumping upwards up a ramp like this is the fact that you're going to have a head lift on that fluid. So I always suggest to start with a pipe on the low end of it. So we want to go ahead and do our pipes here. Actually, we're going to unlock our bigger pipes here soon. Now, notice how the blue is going toward the machine. That's not what you want. You want it going the other way. So it's pushing it up, and you want to put it as close as you can. Remember, it's pushing it, not pulling it. So vitally important on that one. And then we'll go ahead and just connect that pump. We also want to look at the pump and look at its head lift here to see if it head lift reaches over 20. In this case, the other one's 50 plus. But I can tell you that this definitely is going to get pretty close to 20, if not exceed 20 on its head lift. So let's take a look. Right now it's about 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and oh, very close, very close. And then 20. Because I can tell you that that's way too far for it to push it all the way up that hill. Now, how do we know where to put it next? Well, you kind of don't know because it's going to be based on how far you're going, the distance and the angle of it. But when you put it down, it kind of gives you an idea. You can see how far that little blue circle is going. So we're going to go ahead and go to there, and we're going to go ahead and put the next one down. And I'm going to say, let's say it said somewhere close into here, right? So we'll go ahead and put it here. Boom, press that twice. Lock that in, then go ahead and tie into some of this power. Say this one, run it into there. Now, the one you want to look at is actually not this one. You want to actually backtrack to the one before and look at what its head lift says, because those two are going to be working together. The two pumps are going to be working together, and now it says the head lift is 5.3. So that's way too close. It's way too close to this one because it's not getting the maximum head lift. You want to go ahead and use your head lift to about 2 meters out, right? So say you get it to about 18. That's kind of our goal. So really, it doesn't have too much of a head lift between that one and the one we just put down. So we're going to go ahead and take that one out. And I can tell you when the head lift is really going to kick in. And that's, of course, when it starts to arch upwards, right? So we're going to say that that can push it up to there, push it slightly up to this one. And let's say right about here, maybe, that pump needs some additional help getting up the hill. And so how will we know? Well, we plug them both in.
Why?
And then run over here. God, it's so creepy every time. So creepy when she does that comply stuff. Then we're going to run over here again. Look at this original one. Look at what the head lift is. And you might have to give it a minute too. And it says the head lift is 14.5. Now, why is this important? The reason why it's important is because the less pumps you use, the more efficient your power grid is, right? If I put 5 of these on here when I only need 2 or 3, then I'm basically wasting power. And that power could be used for more items in my factory and take me less time to get it going. So that's 14.5. We've still got plenty of space. So let's go ahead and move it up some more. Now, again, I would like it to be able to show you, hey, this is the spot in which it does it. If you've got some tricks, let me know in the chat. If you've got some tricks for knowing exactly where to put your head lift. Now, I could also count the amount of foundations, but I found most of the time on kind of flat or slightly rising surfaces, I just have a tendency to move forward. So if that was 14.5, this starts really going steep. So let's say right about there. Again, I'm just taking a guess based on past experience. Make sure that that is powered up. I did not actually connect to it. Try it again. There we go. Got to see the green there. And then we'll run down. Now, once we get this one at the right distance, then we'll do the next one and so on. And you really don't need that many. You don't really need that many pumps. So let's look. See, that one's too much, right? That's 22. So we know probably, and again, if you want to be safe, anytime you start to go on a steep lift, probably want to do it at the bottom side of that steep lift. That's what I have a tendency to do. Like right here, this gets fairly steep. So, whoa, okay. We'll dismiss that then. We'll go ahead and then backtrack this back down a little bit more. Right here at the beginning of this lift. And if it's not perfect, that's okay as well. You know, if it's, 18 or whatever, that's fine as well. So there. Definitely worth your time to optimize your pumps because, again, If it uses less power, that's less work.
Personnel in the area. Proceed with harvest before it's too late.
I am not going to do that. Oh, wait, I have some explosives. I could do that. Let's do it. I forgot I had explosives. Okay, stop being creepy. Stop being creepy, Ada.
You are so lucky that you found this most valuable artifact.
Okay, I found it. Now stop being creepy. I forgot I brought my explosives. Smart me. All right, let's go look at our head lift. Ah, still 22. All right, still too far. And let's make sure that that was powered when we took that reading. That was at 22 as well. Yeah, that's powered. Oh, hey, thanks for the love. Appreciate that. Redwall, thanks for coming in with the follow, and then also the 5 biddies. Appreciate it. Tip of the hat. Tip of the hat to you, man. All right. So again, let's see how to backlog just a little bit here. I think where we had it before is probably a little bit better. Let's just kind of move down just a bit. Again, make sure that we're connecting it. Make sure that it's going in the correct direction. I wonder if that one was in the wrong direction. Kind of feel like it was. I got so distracted by the creepy thing that I might have had that wrong direction. Doesn't matter. You just want to get close. Again, I like to leave some leeway because these pumps don't use that much power. But I do like to leave some leeway. And if you can get it right at 19, then you're crushing it right there. That's probably the right around the best. So you have about a 1 millimeter leeway. And so that's perfect. So now we know a bit about the distance in which we need. Now, we've also found that it's about 3 levels. When we were working on our vertical water, when we're running it straight up, it's about 3 levels that you want to go up and then add another pump. So we're just going to go ahead and say, okay, we got that. And we're going to go up here again. We're going to go ahead and put another pump in, make sure we're going the correct direction. We're going to go ahead and also run our power. Make sure that has power. And then again, go back to the one before and see what its new lift value is. See, its lift value right now is 22. So that's telling us that this is actually too far. Now, it kind of gives you an idea of, oh my God, wait a minute, Kismet, that's going to be a lot of pumps to go up here. It is. It's going to be a good amount. So again, so we're going to say 1, 2, 3 foundations there. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. Now, if you notice when I put this on here, it's got a couple circles up ahead, right? If you hold this down, it's really great on angled because you can see it really well on angled stuff. It's going to be, basically, this is telling you roughly about where that head lift is right now. So we're going to go ahead and put this here. Did I put that in the wrong direction? I feel like I did. Let's try that again. Pick that pump up, make sure it's going the right direction. There we go. Let's say right here. So again, we'll give ourselves a bit of leeway. Click that, let that start up a little bit. Go back here, and there we go. Our head lift much better. And again, if it's not perfect, you can sit and fuddle with it all day, everybody. I typically don't. And again, if we look at how many we've gone from here, so we go 1, 2, 3 roughly. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're just going to go ahead and see if we can just try to get away with this. Now again, look at that thing, how it's already there. That's kind of telling us roughly where that head lift is getting to. So let's go a little bit before that, and let's go ahead and run this again in there. Make sure it's going the right way. The light should be in the front. This green light here should be in the front of it if you're going in this direction, right? Otherwise, it'd be on the other way, going that way. And again, walk back down and get a general gist of this one. And we look at the head lift. Ah, just a little too much, right? just a little too much. So it actually told us fairly accurately where that is, where that thing's going to be, right? So where that kind of pump stops. But you need a bigger gap than that. You need to definitely roll that back pretty far to make sure that it doesn't max out that head lift. So there we go. And then we'll walk back again. And you get the general idea. Now we need to let it run for a little bit so it gets an idea of that head lift. So we're about 17 there. Again, you can fine tune it and try to get it perfect. But again, now that we're going up the same angle, the same step angle, we could say, okay, what's the distance in foundations between this one and the other one, right? Because they're all going the same angle, except for this little kind of fall, because you can't make that rotate so it's going the right way, which sucks, unless you put the other ones down, and then you can do those. But these poles here, you cannot angle them, which would be awesome, by the way. So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be 5. So every 5 things we could do it. Now again, this one's going to be over the head lift. So let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to say right here. And then we're going to turn it this way. And again, you want to leave see that big circle up there, that blue circle? You want to leave at least a full pump's gap. Oh no, we're out of rotors. We're out of rotors. What a bummer. You want to leave a full pump's gap there, and all we have to do is pump it to the top of the hill, right? Once we get it to the top of the hill, we're good. Now, because I ran out of rotors, though, we're going to need to take a little side tour, a little side trip to get more rotors. So let's go. And now we just happen to have a handy-dandy hypertube. Now, I don't do nothing, and we're actually going to go on a little bit of a ride here. And run back and get this hypertube going. Now our goal is, of course, is to run the oil up to the top. For pump head lift, one tip is there's a holographic collar that shows up on the pipe if it can detect a maximum head lift, and the pump can snap to that. What I do is I place the pump just below that collar to allow a bit of headroom. No pun intended. Yes, that's one of the things I was just showing. There you go. You're probably expanding. I'm sorry. Why does the head lift need to be lower than 22? Because that's the maximum amount of pressure that it can push, right? The other ones, the level 2 ones, are actually 50 pressure that it can push, right? So basically, it's pushing the liquid up the angle, right? And so if it doesn't have enough power to push the liquid up, that's what that head lift is all about. If it gets above 20 on the level 1 pumps, it will not be able to pump it. That basically pump pressure, right? And when you're pumping liquids of any type, water, whatever, it's got a certain pump pressure. That pump can push so much liquid per square inch and that kind of stuff. Basically, it's got a 20 head lift. That's what that represents. The amount of water it can push before it starts to push back at a rate at which it stops it from going up, right? Kind of a bit like water tension, right? Because if you had it like this, where the water was going down, the rest of the water, as the water starts to accelerate, it will actually pull the rest of the water with it. So you have basically a positive head lift, or basically the water tension is pulling that water in that direction. A great example is a water barrel, right? If you have 2 water barrels, which I actually do in my backyard, I have a water barrel, and one of those water barrels is higher up. And so what I do is I have the water come into the top barrel, and then it goes down, and then the bottom of this barrel is connected to the other barrel, right? So what's going to happen is that water is going to go into the bottom barrel. It's going to fill that bottom barrel until it reaches the top, and then it's going to start to backlog into this water barrel and start to fill that one up to the same level of this one, right? And then as it kind of goes up above that, it will actually get up to the top where I have an extra drain in case it does fill up both barrels. It does help a lot. So that's a bit about water tension and about how basically water works. And they thought that out in this game. They thought, hey, how would water actually work in real life? And we're going to add those kind of mechanics to the game. And I give them huge credit for that, everybody. Huge credit for coming up with really an amazing fluid system. Incredibly great fluid system. Really makes you feel like you're really engineering how you're going to make your water run. Now, I need to run back for some rotors here. This is my primary base here. We're working on it little by little. And of course, we have a bunch of things running over here. These are plates and copper sheets and all of that stuff. And then, of course, it's running its way up to kind of my storage unit up above where my actual hub is. And it's going to be up above where we have our trains. We're trying to get our first train going today. Now, this is not my first time I've played the game, by the way. I have played it for literally hundreds, potentially thousands of hours. I don't even know how you can tell your hours in Epic Games, in the Epic Games launcher, but it's a lot. I played through 40 times. I've unlocked everything in the game before multiple times. I played the game before they had trains in the game at all. I played it from a long, long time ago, everybody, when it first came out. So very, very fun, very, very fun game. Highly recommended. This game's an 11 out of 10, everybody, in early access, which is a rarity, like finding, you know, a giant diamond in your backyard, that's, hanging from your, orange tree. It's kind of like that in today's gaming world where, basically all the games that come out they're just trash or they're broken, or they're just, you know, unplayable at launch. Where this one's in early access and is better than games that have been out for 5 or 10 years, which is really scary. Now, there's so many, lead weights of games out there. It's kind of a bummer. I still learning the game, but there you go. You probably explained it, but yeah, that's why the head lift needs to be lower than that 20. Otherwise, it will not push it up there at its maximum rate. It actually will still push some water up that hill, but just it will not be flowing up the hill at its maximum speed, which in this case, the pipes that I'm on is, hold on. By the way, here's a little tip. If you get in the hypertube and you want to stop, you can hold down S and your character will turn around, and then you hold down W and then he will come out in the correct direction, because I forgot to pick up my vehicle. There we go. All right, let's get it. And now we're going to head back. And what I'm making right here is what's known as a push-pull train. A push-pull train has an engine on both ends, and so it will pull and push the train in 2 directions. So all you need is a station facing in 2 separate directions, one at the beginning and one at the end, or beginning end, depending on how you want to look at it. And there's going in 2 different directions. So one train is going to go toward this station, and the other train is going to go toward the other station, right? That's what we're setting up right here. Now, of course, you can do circular trains and all sorts of really complex systems with switch tracks and all sorts of really incredible, great stuff. Look at this beautiful waterfall over here. All sorts of killer stuff you can do in this game. For sure, for sure. You want it under the orange level. Yes, you want it to be down where that number is below 20. That makes a lot of sense, yes. Now, if you notice that it does give you an indicator of where that lifter is, but if I put the lifter there, it doesn't actually match up perfectly. So I usually move it back a bit so it gives me that leeway, right? And then after a while, you just have a sense of it. You have a sense of how far you go. Like, I know it's 5 foundations roughly that I need to keep putting pumps. When you're going straight vertical, it's every 3 levels. So if you're using a full ramp, right? So you go up 1 full ramp, 2 full ramps, 3 full ramps, and then you're going to need a pump. And actually, when I get back to my primary base, I can show you how I did that with water that I'm pumping up for my coal plants to my primary base. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. But let's go ahead and get back over here. Hopefully I didn't need any other resources. It just dawned on me when I got back. I might have needed some other resources. And again, my goal is to set this up where I don't ever have to come out here again unless I'm overclocking my oil, which I absolutely will. One of my highest priority overclocks is actually the raw resources. Is overclocking coal and iron and all of that. The reason why I do that is because I don't have to build an additional structure. I can just basically accelerate the structure of that particular node. I can upgrade the line that already pre-exists. I don't have to run the lines. And that's really, really helpful for sure. So again, right here, 1 is the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've already got that one going right here. Head left is too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, when you're going on a straight full angle like this, eventually you'll just get it down and then you'll just keep running. And again, I kind of fool with it, measure it, see how well it goes, and then I'll backtrack down to the previous one to see where we're at. And again, if you want to optimize it even closer than what I'm doing about 17, sometimes up to about 19. It's up to you. For me, I'm just trying to get this done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. And again, make sure it's going in the right direction. Now remember, every one of these I put down is going to take up more and more power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm not even going to look at them now until I get them all done, and then I'll go back and do it. But if it is your first time kind of doing this, I highly suggest that. Oh, we're going to need an additional one of these so we can run a couple of those off of that. There we go. That you look at each one as you go. And again, make sure that kind of green line is lit up and it's facing in the correct direction. So here we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right here. And again, you can come back and fine tune it. See that circle? Now, it seemed like you should put it right here, right? Or put it and snap it to the circle like this. I find that rarely ever works for me. But I'm going to do it on this one. I'll do it on this one. We'll run some power to it. From down here. And then, see, this one's not the one that you're worried about. If you go back to the previous one, right here, this is the one you're worried about. And you can see that my head lift is 21.9. So it actually is not right. It's not snapping in there properly when I'm on such a vertical angle. But sometimes when you're going straight, when it's going straight across and you're pushing it over long distances, or if it's more of a slight angle, it actually does work. But I've found in a real steep angle like this, it's basically not going to be able to push it up there. So I will definitely move it back, or I go every 5 distances, as you can see, or you might be able to get away with 6. So we'll call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're almost to the top here. Again, it doesn't matter if it should work. It only matters if it does work, all right? That's the most important thing. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we probably get away with not having this last pump. But again, I'm just going to go ahead and put it right there just to lock in, guarantee that we're going to have that. Let's just pull one of these back up here. And we'll probably fine tune all this later anyway. Later on, I can come back and have a much more powerful pump. And I can remove some of these pumps because it's going to be like double or more than double these pumps. And so I can use less pumps. Now, here we are all the way at the top here as well. You can see now that this going at a maximum of 300, that flow rate is going up. We know we're getting our maximum flow rate of 300 from the bottom there, and all the pipes are filling up. That's what this little thing represents, actually representing, the pipe's this way right now, and it's representing if you were looking through the pipe, how full it is with crude oil right now. And it's doing pretty good. It's at 292, and it should ramp up. Now, based on how wide this thing is as well, is also the flow speed. So if it's really wide, if it's open all the way up like this, then you know the flow speed is really good. If it's really low in, or if it's all connected right next to each other, you know there's something up. Something is horribly wrong. Now, one of the cool things I did also at the end here, if you notice that it pushes it all the way up, and then I have it going down into there like that, which is creating a positive head flow at the end, because I don't need both connectors right now, just the one. And now it's starting to backlog that crude oil for me. Now, again, our goal is to use the power of time. We are going to make one train, and we're literally going to let this run for a week. And we're going to let this grab as much oil as it possibly can and backlog it at our primary base. So we're going to need a lot of storage for a lot of oil. That's really going to supercharge all of our oil production. So we also going to need our train, though, to be properly connected over here. And then we're also at the other end of the train, by the way, we're going to need to add the ability for it to unload the oil. Now, speaking of unloading and loading, while I was putting a track in, there we go. We need to go here to our fluid platform, and we need to make sure that this says load, right? So this is going to load the crude oil onto the actual train that goes through here. Now, again, we're going to build out our train again. Now, I don't know if I have enough resources for all of it, but we'll take a look here. We're going to go ahead and bring a locomotive. We're going to need a freight car, And we're going to need another locomotive. Are we okay? We just need some beacons. Okay, cool. Cool, just some beacons. Now, at the end of your train tracks, everybody, or the end of wherever you're working, I highly recommend that you constantly put down an equipment workshop and then also a crafting bench. These are real cheap on resources. You can put them everywhere you want, but it's always good to have those handy in case you need to build something like I need to do right now. I need to go ahead and build some beacons. So let's go ahead and build out some beacons, and we're going to go ahead and build out a train. So let's go. Now, again, remember, this is going to be a push-pull train. Now, sometimes the push-pull train gets a bit funky chicken, as you'll see. So I like to build it away from the train station, kind of out here like this. And then I'll go ahead. And again, this is just going to be a very simple train, everybody. Of course, we'll make it more fancy later on. And then this is going to be a storage. It's going to store items, or it'll store fluid, or it'll store gases, which we'll get to later. And then again, we're going to have one going in that direction, one going in this direction. Again, that's why they call it a push-pull train. It's got engines on both sides. And then, of course, you want to make sure that this is in the right slot. So when it's coming into the station, right, the actual, it shouldn't be on the other side, right? If it's on the other side, then this car will not be able to get this loaded in and put in there, right? That's what we want to watch out for. Now, another thing that I would do while you're waiting, since I'm only going to have one train doing this, is you could make more storage areas. If you have a lot of oil that's being produced over here, you can make more storage areas on this side so that it could absolutely fill that up. I could make multiple, probably even better, multiple train cars that would collect multiple things of oil as well. I forget what the maximum amount of oil is it carries in one round, but we'll take a look at that here in just a moment. But first, let's do a battle, a Stream Raiders battle, and we'll come back to this. And I'll show you trains automated to bring stuff. This is literally 2,000 meters away from my base, and it's just going to bring me oil all day, every day, which is going to be awesome. We'll come back to it. To battle! All right, now this little side game play called Stream Raiders. We're going to battle it out. Let's go. Oh, wow, that's going to be a ton of oil, right, Lookers? Yes! We are going to get a lot of oil queued up. Now, the reason why we have the power of time, and some people don't, is one, they don't want to let their computer run 24/7. But also, my buddies at Nitrato, which you can get 10% off, you follow that link, get your own server, and use the power of time in your own way. Basically, we have a giant mega server, and it's at Nitrato's giant, whatever they call that, wherever they have server racks. Forget what the name of it is, went right out of my head. But they got a bunch of servers that you can get, and they're giant mega servers, so you can let them run 24/7. And there's an option when you set up the server that even if nobody's on the server, it will continue to run, right? So that is awesome, right? It's like having your computer on 24/7, just letting Satisfactory run, except for you're not. You're not even in the game. You don't even have the computer on. You're sleeping, you're drinking Mai Tai, I don't know. You're busy doing something else. Meanwhile, your factory running 24/7, which I think is awesome. So there you go. Grants and rewards. Reaper getting 200 gold. Olaf getting the love. And Codwing getting some love as well. Les Marble coming in. MVP. Aki, I see you there with all 6 units. Melora as well. And Frogman's Lair bringing all 6 units in. Huge contributor to that win there. I think, well, you know what? Let's just keep going, everybody. Let's just keep going. Try to get some battles. I feel like I'm going to be going on a little bit longer here, for sure. And let's try to get another Saint in there. And this thing's like right in the way there. Let's go over here since this one's kind of in our way. Right there. All right, we got to place the 3 Saints. Let's go ahead and collect our loots. What are we doing here? Earn 50 tokens. And kill so many enemies. All right, cool. And don't forget to look in that chest, everybody, to see if you got a free skin. If you did, let me know. Now, I'm giving away a skin up there as part of the giveaways. You want to see how to be part of the giveaways? There's more information down there on what to do with your Kiz Caps. Just by lurking in the channel, you're already earning those Kiz Caps just by hanging around. And, of course, I give tons out. So you guys have a high chance of winning those giveaways. So let's go back to some Satisfactory. All right, so this is Dorich Central, which I'm probably butchering that name. I'm going to call this Oil Origin, right? And of course, it doesn't change, but if you go out and go back in, it actually changed it. Now, why do I want to know that? Why do I want to rename this? Well, here in the timetable, I'm going to actually tell it how the trains are going to run, right? And I'm going to tell it which stations to go to. This one, and then of course I can tell it to go to another station as well. Currently this one is parked. Now I actually haven't really got into the trains with this new timetable, so we're going to see if this actually works still here in a moment, right? So we're going to get that going. Now one of the things we do need to worry about though before we get this going, and that is the ability for it to have a way of unloading it on the other side. So let's go ahead and roll our train up in here and see what happens. Now, if you notice that the stuff is not automatically going into the train, right? It doesn't automatically do that until you automate it, and then it should, in theory, take the oil and load it on there. But that's the least of our problems right now. We're going to come back for that here in a minute. We're going to go ahead and take this train, and we are going to run it all the way back. Oh, I see a gap there. How the heck did that happen? A little funky gap action. Now, if you have a gap, everybody, what you want to do is you want to move your train back out of the way. And I'm just going to ghost ride the train. And it just, like, starts to stop it, which I think is cool. And then right here, you can see that somehow this gap got messed up. We'll take it out so it doesn't accidentally take out the tracks underneath your train. That'll mess it all up. And this is why it is not seeing the other train station, which I saw it do. Oh, it's just a little bit not far enough. Oh, I went a little too far there. All right, let's back this up. And let's say to here. And then we'll connect that in there. Because it should have shown me both train stations. And so this is one of the kind of troubleshooting things you want to do, is you want to drive the tracks yourself before you set it up to run. And you should be able to see both train stations. So it knows to go to one train station, and then it knows to go to the other. So the first thing I do, once I have all my track down, I have all my stations down, is I just drive myself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm holding down W right now to drive the train. I can hold down spacebar to basically put on the brake of the train to slow it down. Or I can just ghost ride it and let it run. Now again, watch as we go into the corner here. I'm still going pretty fast. I'm still going at 115 kilometers per hour. My max speed typically on a flat surface is 120. If it's going down, it'll go faster. If it's going up, obviously it'll go slower. So I typically like it, obviously, to go at its maximum speed. It's also using 26 megawatts of power, which is a pretty decent amount of power it's using right now. But we're going to have a problem at this end. Because we first need to set up that end, make sure that the track is drivable from one end to the other. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the brake on, hold down S, try to slow this down before it gets too close. And then I'm going to go ahead and act like I'm going to take out the track. Now, see how it has a stopping point right here, which is why I make those separate stopping points to be pretty long because I need to work on them. I actually need to take this side out. Again, see how the train is still on the track. And the reason why I need to take this side out is because when it goes to grab the oil over there, it's going to come back and bring the oil and unload it over here. Now, one of the cool things you don't need to do, by the way, is your actual fluid platform does not need to be turned in the same direction as the one over on the other side. We just need to snap it in here. One of the things that I'll do is I'll turn it in the direction in which I'm going to put my oil, which is going to be out that way. But we do need a little bit more foundations out here. And we're definitely going to fill this whole area in with foundations over here. And I build mine always way up out of the, where the mobs are in your face, or up out of the changes they might do to the terrain. I do a lot of that. Okay, so let's go ahead. Again, fluid platform. put this in, make sure it's going in this direction, click that in, lock it in, and then, of course, lock this in like this. Now, built in, it has its own storage for it to use. Now, this is going to be unload, so I'm going to slide that. By the way, I love the UI changes they did to the game. They did an incredibly great job, including the incoming transfer rate, right? There's amount of items per minute or fill rate and drain rate per minute. I absolutely love that about the game. That was a home run, absolutely. Now, see how the train's sitting over there? I don't need to go back to the train. All I need to do is tell the train where to go and what to do. So I just go to the timetable, and I should see both stations now. See that? I have 2 stations instead of just 1. That tells me, hey, this is good to go. So what I can do is go into my timetable, which I'm already in there. I can go to my train here, and I can say turn on self-driving. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. Now it says it's got no timetable, which it in theory doesn't. And so I'm going to tell the train name is the oil train. There we go. And then we want to edit its timetable. So we're going to go ahead and say current timetable and available station. So the one I'm at right now is the hub. So we'll go ahead and say go to the hub. And then once you go to the hub, then go back to the origin, right? So we'll say save changes. Now it's got oil and oil hub. It says operational. And there's nothing else I need to do. Isn't that awesome, everybody? This is why this game is an 11 out of 10, everybody. I just told that to do it. Now it's going to come over here. It's going to stop. It's going to see if it has anything to unload. If it doesn't have anything to unload, then what it's going to do is it's going to turn around and, in theory, go in the opposite direction, right? Now, before you do anything, you want to watch this thing do its thing, right? You want to look at it and say, okay, is it set to unload? Oh, there it goes. Is it set to unload? Now, we know we did it right, and we did all of that hard work, and we ran all the stuff. We ran the train. We did the thing. We ran the pipes up there. We did all the pumps. We know it works if that comes back with oil. If it comes back with oil and it unloads the oil into here, then we know we did it right. Now, that is a really long distance, right? So basically, we have to chill out and wait for it here for a minute. But while we're waiting for it, what I'm going to be doing is kind of extending this other side here, where I'm going to have all of the storage that we're going to be using for our oil production. So we can just let this run for like a week and absolutely crush it, right? There we go. How do you build multiple foundations? When you go to build it, there's a function called zooping, where you go ahead in the middle here and you can hold down R. And you can go to zoop, or in this case, you can just go ahead and just hit R to toggle the mode, right? See how it's toggling right there, how it flashes? First it starts at default, which is just doing 1. You hit R, it goes into zoop mode, and you can even zoop vertical, because there's a vertical mode too. Isn't that cool? I mean, I love that feature. It's probably my favorite new feature, because I've actually built gigantic mega bases 1 foundation at a time. Absolutely. I've sat there and made them 1 at a time, back and forth for endless hours, hundreds of hours, just doing that. Now, again, our train's goal is to go over there and get it done. Now, how can we tell that it's actually working, even if we're not near the train? Well, if we look up here at the radar, we can see it actually says oil train. Maybe you can't see it. It might be too small for you. But that oil train should go over there and then come back. And how do we know it's on its way back? Well, it'll start to move. Oh, wow, I'll call that perfect timing. It'll start moving on your radar. You'll start to see it moving, in this case, I think north to south, and you'll see it start to move. That means it's now on the way back to us. Now, what we wanted to do is we wanted to keep bringing some oil in, and we want to basically organize that oil by these giant fluid containers, right? And we want to put as many as we possibly can, because again, we're going to let this run for a week. We're going to have just crazy tons of oil. We're going to be able to make a ton of power, which means we're going to make more factories and be able to produce all of these things that we've been kind of waiting on to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that to come back, and then we're going to try to hop on that train. I'm going to show you something fun to do. Go up the ladder. There we go. We're going to I'll show you something fun to do when it gets going. Now, again, I can tell that the train is moving based on the radar there. And eventually, oh, there we go. We can see it way off in the distance. And this I think is one of the most genius modes. One at a time is how I'm doing it now. Thank you. You're welcome, Bo. They just added that Zoop feature in Update 6. I absolutely, or maybe it was Update 5. No, it was Update 6. I love that Zoop feature. It is awesome. Here we go, everybody. First round of oil right here. I can tell it's oil because it's a round canister. I love it when it works first try. I love it when that happens. By the way, their animations in this game are incredibly well done. You got to give their animators some love, everybody, because they have done an incredibly great job. Oh, it honks now. Oh, it didn't do that before. It actually honks when the train goes off. Oh, what a great addition. Now, if we look in here and there's oil in here, we win. There we go. Look at that. It just brought 1,600. So now we know how much can hold in a single canister. 1,600 there. Now, when it comes back again, it's going to be more than 2,400, right? So it's going to be, we're going to have too much on there. So you're like, Kismet, how do you go and do the thing? Now, I just happen to have a hypertube, so I'm going to use that. But I could make another train and try to drive that way. But in the old thing, you could go right through trains, right? They had pass-through. But now, if I drive on that track and the train's coming toward me, we will collide and the trains will go flying. Which is a fun thing to do, just to do it, right? But I'm going to use the hypertube here because we're going to need some resources. Or actually, I could probably just go back to my base. Oh, no, we used it up. So we've got to go this way a bit. Now, what I could have done is I could have got on the train as well. I could have just jumped on the top of the train, and then the train will just drive me automatically way to the other side. And when I get to the other side, I can jump off. One of the fun things I like to do is I like to race the train. I like to, right when the train's about to start going, I'll get in the hypertube and see if the train passes me up. And the answer is yes. The train actually goes faster than the hypertube on a flat surface, right? Now, when it comes to going down or up, and you can also add little mini accelerators, as I like to call them, person accelerators, where you go into one, and then that one shoots you into another one, and it really accelerates your character, where he's just cranking, man. He's just jamming all the way across. At probably lethal speeds, everybody. You would definitely die in real life at that if you were going 200 miles an hour and then all of a sudden you ran into a wall on the other side. But one of the cool things to do is to actually go along the train and watch the train running automatically. Now, they also have vehicles that do the same thing. They have smaller vehicles, larger vehicles. Even that little tiny vehicle that you saw, I could actually have that vehicle driving back and forth. Oh, there goes our train. Now, remember, this is just a tiny train. This is just a small push-pull train with one car. We could build gigantic trains, right? Big trains with switch tracks, and we could have trains coming in and out, bringing resources in all sorts of ways. And we could manage all of those trains as well. And this game, again, is incredibly well thought out, incredibly well made. This is why I love it so much. And again, this is why I play it at a very slow pace. Because I don't want to burn myself out on it. I just like to test out what's new in the game as I go along. All right, there we go. So we're going to go ahead and grab a bunch of that plastic so we can get that going on. Now, one of the cool things is also now that we're on the other side, we're bringing all this oil to the other side of the world here to our main factory, is we don't have to come out here to do plastic. We can actually bring the oil to us. Then we can go ahead and basically use that plastic or produce the plastic on the other end, right? We don't have to produce the plastic over here anymore, which is basically what we're going to do. Let's see if the train's up here when we get up here. I don't think it is, because if you look at my radar, I can't see it. That means that it's way over at the other station. And this does not actually stop here. I'll eventually make a stop right there so I can come in if I need to add more trains or more cars or whatever I need to do. But again, the real goal is to set it and forget it, right? To just let it run for a week, come back, and then try to backlog a bunch of oil. Then we can use that oil to produce power, which means we could add more trains, which means we could add more factory, and so on and so forth, and produce more materials to unlock more resources, and to unlock more higher level items as well. Which is going to allow all of our stuff go faster. Like our pipes will be thicker, wider. It can run 600 instead of 300. It'll also allow us to make our conveyor belts go faster. We'll be able to extract resources, more resources. Then we'll be able to boost those resources that are extracting. Here it comes. Now remember, we can do multiple trains running at multiple times. So we could have a train that's going, we could have a train get right to the end, and then go off to a little side track where it sits and waits. And then as this train comes back out again, then this train goes in and grabs the oil, and that one's going back. So you could have a point in which they one gets off onto a side track, this one keeps going, and then after that one passes, the other one goes the other way. And they just added all of that feature to the game. And I'm sure people have thought of brilliant ways to do that, all of you train aficionados out there. I have not got into it that deep yet, but we're going to do it in this playthrough. So make sure to hit that follow button. Be here every Wednesday while we work on our train system. And again, we're just getting started. So over here, so here we go. So we got in there 2,400. We're maxed out now. So when it comes back again, it will not have enough to put it in there. Now remember, green is output. 3 orange lines is input. So we want this to come right out of here. We want to make sure not to raise it up. We want it to be basically in line here. There we go. And we're just going to go ahead and stack these in a nice order. And I like to leave a little bit of a gap between these. One, so I can run through there, but also so it's very obvious whether it's working or not. And now you know why I made so many heavy modular frames last time, right? That's because I'm about 10 steps ahead, everybody. Sometimes as much as 20. But mostly 10 steps ahead. All right, now that is a good amount of oil there. I've actually made ones even more than that in the past. Oh, look at that. It kind of screwed me up. Look at that. It said it had the green line. It was lined up, but it was not lined up. All right, hold on. It screwed me over on that one. It screwed me over. I should have connected the first one first. That's usually how I do, but let's do it again. And see how I put the control. It had the green line there that was telling me I was lined up, but I wasn't. I'm lined up to the center of that, but not the center of this. I'm going to eyeball it. Eyeball it. Back to my pipes. And not straight. See, I will continuously fix it until it's right. One of the ways I've found is to stand in front of the pipe and then turn around, and then you are directly kind of acting as the alignment for it. That seems to work well for me. And then you can get a nice straight line right there. Now, once you have one, again, you can go ahead and use your control key and line these up all nice and straight. Again, we'll do these all again. Now, before I get too far, let's make sure that this is going to work. Yep. Okay. Remember, fluid, just like a water barrel, these are going to equalize across all of these first. Oh, I heard the train. Oh, a little too far there. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Now, each of these, by the way, hold another 2,400 of the fluid itself. So we're going to keep running these across like this. Now, you thought that was all I was going to do, and I can tell you that's not even close. Not even close. Oh, we got to get back into Zoop mode here. There we go. Zoopy mode. The Zoop mode takes a little bit to get used to because sometimes you're going to want to do a single one, and it'll just be awkward. Okay, now, another thing that we can do is we can stack these. I don't know about you, but that's freaking cool. Now, how should we actually run these, everybody? Should we run it into the bottom or should we run it into the top first? Now, if you want to use gravity to your advantage, you want to run it to the top first, just like a water tower. That's how water towers work. The water tower that's on top of your building or on a building that you might see, the water tower is up higher than the building. Now, what they do is they pump the water up there and they fill it up. Now, why do they do that? Well, the reason why they fill up a water tower with water is in case you lose power. If you lose power, there's no way of pumping the water into your building, right? So what they do is you use gravity to basically run the water. So if you turn on your shower, you still got water or whatnot. But know that the water is finite. So if you are in a building, if you lose power, make sure you fill up some buckets and some pans right away with some water before your neighbor takes a 4-hour shower and burns up all the water. Because that will empty pretty quickly on the top of a building. You got to think of all the people using water, especially when you lose power. People are going to do a bit of panicking. So a good idea to go ahead and run it. Now, I don't need to run it from the bottom one. I can run it from the top one here. And we're just going to run this straight up into the top one like that. Now, what we're going to do is go ahead and connect this across like this. Now, remember that pipes are bidirectional. So you don't need to make sure that you do it in a certain direction. Doesn't really matter. It will automatically figure it out itself. Then we're going to go ahead and bring this down. And I usually find that 3 high is a great combo for oil because it'll usually end up in the same direction in which you started. Now, here's the biggest problem right here is the fact that 2 of those pipes are kind of touching. Normally, that drives me crazy, but I'm just going to leave it for now. And we'll fuddle around with all that because we're going to be revamping all this later. And then what should happen is this very last one here eventually should have the oil, right? Now, there's another problem of the fact that we need to push the oil up to the top, right? We need a pump to get it up there. So we're going to go ahead and get our water pump out again. Again, I'm going to do a little bit of clipping here since we're at the end of the stream, but you want to put it down as far as you possibly can. And then I'm going to go ahead and run a line out. Actually, let's run it this way. Run a line out here so I can tap it separately into the primary power that's coming from our coal plants over there. So now that's going to run to there. That's going to run to the pump. The pump's going to start pushing it up to there. You can try to jump up here and look at its head lift. Now, its head lift's going to be pretty straight up. But I can tell you at 3 up, it's about perfect. As you can see, it's 18, 19. So about 3 up is kind of like the magic number of head lift per 1 pump of all of your oil. Now, again, we did it right. It's going to go up, go across these, come back across these, go down and go across these. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 15 times 2,400 oil. That's a lot of oil. So we should eventually see this very last one. It's kind of snaking its way into here. If we don't see it in here, then we know there's some sort of problem along the way, right? There's some sort of pipe that's not connected, a part over here that's not connected. Now, another great little trick is to also run your pipe like this and look and see in the gap that this starts to separate. If it doesn't start to separate, then that means that the oil is not making its way all the way to the end. There's some sort of connection problem. Now I'm going to go ahead and look here across all of this. Make sure I do have my pump going in the right direction. It is. By the way, notice that it has a big symbol on the side telling you what it is now, which is super cool. We can see that this one right here is pumping very well. Up into that top part. Now remember also this is acting as a storage. You want to see that this is going down, in which it is. You can also make a valve to make sure that the oil does not backlog back into this. But what we want to do is see that this number is going down and that it's getting pumped up in there. We can also check it here, that it is starting to fill here. It's starting to fill over there. There we go. Now it's starting to reach into these. And then once we get all the way to the last one right here, and we see that it's starting to fill. There's something definitely wrong with it. Hold on. Let's run this into there again. And we want to see that filling. There we go. See, if that number's not going up, you know there's something wrong. So it was this connection right here that was funky. Sometimes you did it right, but it doesn't work. Remember, it's early access. So I just take it out, reconnect it, just to make sure that it is showing that that is going. And then over here, see how those are separated? That lets us know that it is getting some flow in there. Now, I'm not really going to run that anywhere right now. My goal is to let this run for an entire week because I have enough power to let it run. And that's another thing we need to check. We need to look at our power, make sure our power is not going to turn off during the week. Right here, oh man, we're consuming 783 and we have 13, or let's say 800 plus. Yeah, about 800 plus we're using. And right now our capacity is 1350 because all of those other items that they were making earlier, the concrete, the plates and the other stuff that I had taken out of the boxes, it is done doing those items. So once it's done doing the items, it no longer uses the power because it automatically shuts down all of the machinery. And that's one of the tricks that I use to basically make it where I don't have to build a lot of power in the game, right? I build a lot less power, let it build a bunch of stuff, and then stop. And then I use that power to work another part of the factory and another part, right? Until I get to a part like this where I'm doing coal and oil, and then I can go ahead and really boost the power way up. But we're going to go ahead and just let it backlog, use that power of time, and get it going. Now, we could, of course, make it even faster if we wanted to. We could add more trains and do all of that stuff. There we go. And do all of that stuff, but it's doing a great job of bringing it in. And then, of course, this is pumping it out. Now, again, we might want to go ahead and do one of these things, a little valve, and maybe put a valve right here. And then look at the valve. Got to get up on top there. Look at the valve and see if the valve is going the right direction. And that just keeps it from backlogging down into here. We want this to empty as quick as possible to get that out of there. And then our valve here, we can get to it. Oh, it's a great platform. Yeah, right here. We can see that we can set the limit of the flow rate of the valve. And right now it's 100%. And you can see that it only goes in one direction. It's currently flowing, I think, forward. Probably should put that on there again just to make sure. Now, you probably don't need it. But at this current rate of what it's doing, it's actually flowing at its maximum rate, which is 300. And this definitely will need to be increased over time. So let's take this out. Let's go ahead and put our valve in again. Make sure it's going the right direction. There we go. It was going the right direction, so cool. Like that. Look at that up there. Make sure that separates. And then that's going at full speed. And then we're just basically going to keep it from backlogging back into here in the end. And so that's basically just going to keep it emptying, keep it emptying. It's going to keep loading and loading and loading until every single one of these is full. And let's do the math on that. Hey, Siri, what's 2,400 times 15?
2,400 times 15 is 36,000.
So we're going to have 36,000 oil if it manages to fill all this up. And I can tell you it's going to fill it up. Because each time it comes back, it has enough oil to fill about 3/4 of one of these. Right? So in one trip, it's got 3/4 of this one. And then the next trip, it's filled this one. And then it's also filled a quarter or more of this one. So it's completely full. And then over here, it's now filled a half. And then so on and so forth. So this is about, I'd say, 20 trips or so. Let's just call it 30 trips, just in case. Because if this doesn't empty fast enough, it's going to make more trips. But let's say 30 trips of our train, and we have 36,000 oil. And that's a lot of oil, everybody. That's a lot of oil. And again, we could add even more. And we just, while we're offline, we could add another stack and another stack and another stack. And again, that's the power of time. So we'll let that run. Let's do another battle. Let's go. To battle. All righty, battle time. Let's do it. Gonna give you guys a boost and see if we get you guys some loot. Now, another great thing about this is the fact that I don't have to save. It automatically saves the game because it's on the server. And this server then is going to continuously run 24/7. Oh, 75 units. Look at us go. Get it going on. We've been doing it one at a time. Yeah. If you use the hypertune acceleration, can you shoot yourself like a cannon? You absolutely can, Licorice. I've seen people wind themselves up and then fire themselves clear across the other side of the world. Yeah, just like an accelerator cannon. Make sure you got your jetpack on. You got some fuel. So you don't die on the other side. All right, grants and rewards. Let's see. Frogman, Lair, Akia, Olaf, all getting some love. Bone coming in MVP with 17 kills. Melora coming in with 6 units. Nice job. And Aki again with all 6 units, crushing it on those Stream Raiders. All right, everybody. We're going to play another game here in a minute, but I think we could try... Ooh, it's getting late, though. I need to rest. All right, we're gonna go for it. All right, let's just go for it. Which way do we want to go? Let's just go straight for the boss. Yeah, we're gonna try to get you guys in some battles here. This is a 1 skull, so we'll just go. Let's say right there. Again, come and join us, everybody. We're gonna do a few more battles, and we'll come back to that in a bit. All right, 141 so far. You're also going to see it go down. The actual number right now is going down, and that's when it's starting to equalize all of the ones across. But it's got 131 in 15 of them, or actually in 5 of them in the bottom ones. And if we go up to the middle ones, which we can just go up the ladder, we can click the middle one. We can see that's 103. And then we can go up even higher to the top ones, and we can see that's about 270, 280. And then it's going to flow up into here, across here, down there, and all of that, which is super cool. So basically, that should be filled in a week. Absolutely. It'll probably be filled in the next few hours. In the next few hours of it going back and forth and back and forth, all of that should be completely filled. Super cool. But you imagine, we could do 50 of them if we wanted to, everybody. All you got to do is have the resources. And actually, these ones don't take that much resources. Really, the heavy modular frames, which I have 179 of them, it only takes 3. Hey, Siri, what's 179 divided by 3? I make her do all my math.
179 divided by 3 is approximately 59.6666.
I know what it is with her in 666. But basically, I can do 60 more of them. I can make 60 more of those, everybody. Imagine, just visualize 60 more of those sitting there, running and running and running all week long. Let's not get too excessive. I think that's more than enough for now. And again, we will actually scale up the amount of oil it's bringing in as well. We'll be running multiple trains as well. And then, of course, we'll also add additional slots for it to bring and basically get and actually pick up the oil, right? Get as much of the oil as it can in one round and then bring it over here. And we can actually look, over here, we can actually look at the flow rate. The drain rate is 300, the fill rate, and of course the current amount in storage. So, whoa, look out. I'm going to run over. So it's going to go ahead and fill that back up again. Let's get up here. And again, right now it's at 1384. So we can see that it's not, oh, turn the sound back on. We can see that it's not draining fast enough to actually get it out of there before the train comes back with another one. So you'll see it do this, right, where it kind of fills it and then it takes it back out again. Now, the actual train itself over here actually has, that's not good. That's not good. Gotta love these games, everybody. Okay, that's bad. All right, let's exit to the main menu. Yeah, I just glitched through the world there. Weird. Let me go ahead and bring up my backdrop. That's classic early access, everybody. Remember, it is early access. They're still working on it. Let me jump back in. There we go. So basically what I was trying to do is get to the container so I could look and see how much was still in the container. But it's going to be, don't die is its tip. You see that? Fix it tip number 1. Don't die. Too late. Too late. All right, let's see where it puts me. Oh, I actually died. It actually killed me. But that's okay. See, I dropped all my stuff, but no big deal. We know where we died, right? Hopefully, rip. Whoa. Okay, now it snapped me back again. Makes me want to restart the server now. See, that's a classic, like, you want to restart the server kind of thing. But no worries. We know where to go. Now, normally, it'll tell me where my loot is. Hopefully I didn't lose all that loot underground, but if I did, remember, any loot that you lose, you actually, on that loot, you actually made all that stuff, so you can always just make it again, no big deal. But let's go over here and see what the heck. See if I drop my loot right here. Now, normally it would be right here, because this is where I died. Oh, I see my dead carcass. Hold E to revive. I didn't know you could revive people. All right, this is really funky. They just had a big update today too. I feel like they really funkified my thing. I might have to start a new game. Because what happens when they update the game, everybody, is, of course, they're going to change stuff. When they change stuff, sometimes if you have an old save, it messes up your old save. Very common in early access. But yeah, I don't know where my actual loot is. Factory cart, tractor, train station, oil hub. Now this one just says train station now. Oil hub. Well, the train is running. So normally what you can do is you can jump on top of the train. Yeah, I'll probably have to end up remaking all that stuff. Oh, that's a bummer. And I don't know where my loot is because it probably glitched through the world and whatnot. I feel like I might have to start a new game. Because you don't want to build out a big old giant factory, everybody, and then find that your game is glitched out. And then you have to start over anyway. But whatever I just did, do not do that. Do not jump on the oil thing while it is in transit. It's like the oil thing ran me over. And then you saw like I revived myself there. And then myself went running off way in the distance. Maybe I should have got on the train tracks and went there. Yeah, we should have got on the train. That's okay. We'll leave it like that. I'll probably restart the server and go from there. You want to, by the way, before you restart the server, there is just a tip on a Satisfactory server, and really any server. There's usually a limit to how long before it auto-saves. So I would leave it at least 5, 10, 15, maybe even 30 minutes so you make sure that it auto-saves before you restart your primary server. So just a little heads up. You can also force it to save through your console commands. But that's okay. I'll go back and I'll make all that stuff again. No biggie. All right, so again, back to main menu. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Even your corpse is getting up and run off, right? Yeah, I think so. Busted server. Yeah, exactly, Rotisserie G. I think it's because there was an update right over here. So we want to go ahead and look at that build update, because there was a big update today. It took forever. I don't know what they changed, but it looked like it just made my server a little wonky. But that's okay. What I'm going to do is go ahead and take a quick break, everybody, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to check out some of the thing that I'm thinking of the stuff in the thing. I can't remember what the name of it is. Right out of my head. Hold on, let me remember the name of it. Terraformers, that's the name of it. Right over here. So we're going to come back and check out a brand new game called Terraformers. I think you guys are going to dig it. I'll be right back in just a moment. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Help support more videos just like this one and keep the Kismet love train a-going by dropping by my Patreon and showing your support. Big thanks going out to Resident Spike, Riverdog, Rotisserie G, JC Hunter, AMZ, and Carlos. Click to watch more videos, and I'll see you next time.